Chapter 790. The third match won. Peak Master. It was indeed a mistake today. Who knew that beast taming peak would actually come with such a surprise? I really didn't expect this. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak could not help but explain as he looked at the Sect Master of Stellar Sect. I won't care about today's 2 matches, but you have to win tomorrow's last match no matter what. I can't see that the Sect Master's position isn't on the 10,000 Swords Peak. The Sect Master of the Starry Sky Sect said rudely to the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Yes, Sect Master. I guarantee that there will not be any mistakes in tomorrow's competition. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak hurriedly agreed. Also, go find out where this Beast Trainer Peak learned the sword technique they used today. The Grand Master of Starry Sky Sect said, as he was about to turn around. Yes, sir. At that time, Xiao Changtian finally returned to his courtyard after a busy day. Linger, it's been hard on you today. Harry's 20 gold coins. Xiao Changtian said as he looked at Feng Ling. Feng Ling was also very busy today. Seeing Feng Ling like this, Xiao Changtian couldn't help but take out some gold coins to compensate her. He had originally asked Feng Ling to raise animals, but now she had to work overtime. Senior, you don't have to be so polite. Isn't this what you should do? Feng Ling smiled as she looked at Xiao Changtian. Feng Ling couldn't help but feel happy when she thought about how the 10,000 Swords Peak had already won the competition. This time, the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak would definitely avenge her. At that time, not only Phoenix Nest Peak, but even the people of 10,000 Swords Peak would thank her for bringing back the cultivation technique. This won't do. This is what you should accept. Xiao Changtian then stuffed the gold coin into Feng Ling's hand. This Feng Ling was kind-hearted. Moreover, she had worked so hard to help him today. No matter what, he had to give her more gold coins. Feng Ling had no choice but to accept the gold coins from Xiao Changtian. Oh right, don't casually feed this gold coin to Paixio. Looking at Feng Ling in front of him, Xiao Changtian specially reminded her. All right, senior. Linger will remember this. Feng Ling immediately nodded in agreement. She didn't even dare to approach the Paixio now, let alone feed it gold coins. The next day at daybreak, the arena of the Starry Sky Sect was filled with people. Today is the last competition, but this time, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak will personally take action. He will definitely win. That's right. I heard that this time, the one fighting with the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master is the White Beast and Lorraine of the Imperial Beast Peak. Of the 2 of them, one was the disciple of the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak, and the other was the daughter of the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak. How could these 2 young people possibly defeat the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak? I agree. Although the people from the Imperial Beast Peak won yesterday, the 10,000 Swords Peak would definitely win this time. The people standing below the stage discussed again. It was not because of any other reason, but because the strength of the 2 sides was not on the same level at all. Even if there were 2 people on the Imperial Beast Peak side, they could not compare to a sacred sovereign, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. All right, since the time has come, let's begin the final battle of the 100-year competition of our Starry Sect. This battle will determine the outcome of this competition. The Grand Master of Starry Sky Sect stood on the high platform and looked at the people below as he spoke slowly. In this battle, due to the physical inconvenience of the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak, the White Beast of the Imperial Beast Peak, and Luolan will fight against the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Then the Sect Master of the Starry Sky Sect said, "The final battle begins now. Contestant, please take your positions." Immediately after, the referee stood on the stage and shouted loudly, "Ha, you 2 little kids, have you really decided to fight me?" At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was standing on the stage, looking at the White Beast and Lorraine. "Cut the crap. We can still defeat you." The 2 of them looked fearlessly at the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak in front of them. That's great. Today, I'll let Taoist Wansho experience the pain of losing a disciple and a daughter. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak sneered. He wanted to avenge his shower. The third round of the competition begins now. The referee saw that both sides were ready and immediately gave the order. Bang! Before the White Beast and Lorraine could see the scene clearly, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak quickly attacked. Boom! Boom! When the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak made his move, the entire ground rumbled along with it. At the side, a gust of violent wind was formed because of the pressure from the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Bang! Bang! The White Beast and Luolan didn't dare to relax. Seeing the actions of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak, they grabbed the large saber in their hands and clashed with the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. Just two little brats, they really overestimate themselves. Although he could feel the difference in their saber techniques, the White Beast and Lorraine were no match for the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak due to the suppression of their realms. Looking at the current situation, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak will definitely win. Seeing this scene, many sects below felt relieved. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on the scene on the stage. However, at this moment, Kuang Shan of the whole Gale sect led everyone away from the arena. Second senior brother, will eldest senior brother find out if we do this? At this moment, the cultivator behind Kuang Shan could not help but ask, so what if I found out? Can he still control me, Kuang Shan? Kuang Shan glanced at that person and said disdainfully, I've taken a fancy to that girl with the glass physique. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about it. No matter what, I'll kidnap her back to the sect today. Kuang Shan said lecherously. The cultivators behind him didn't say anything else when they saw Kuang Shan's appearance. This was because they all knew what kind of person Kuang Shan was. When he was in the whole Gale sect, he was even more arrogant. If he took a fancy to any girl, he would directly snatch her. Now that they were outside, Kuang Shan was still slightly restrained. The reason why this Kuang Shan was so arrogant was because the sect master of the whole Gale sect, Kuang Feng, was his biological uncle. Hence, he turned a blind eye to Kuang Shan's actions. Sometimes he might criticize him because of the opinions of others, but most of the time, he tacitly approved of his actions. Hence, the current Kuang Feng could be said to be lawless. Ha ha ha, little sister, big brother will come to find you soon. After saying that, he led the group down the mountain towards Starry Town. At that time, Xiao Changtian was still busy with his stall. Hey, Aya, what's wrong with this saber? Why did something happen at this time? Xiao Changtian sighed as he looked at the gap on the blade. Linger, quickly go back to my courtyard and get a new saber. Xiao Changtian had no choice but to order Feng Linger to go back and get a knife for him. After all, the current people were still not much different from yesterday. Alright senior, I'll go now. Feng Linger immediately replied. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 791. Fighting the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords, hurry up and follow her. This little girl just happened to be walking into the forbidden area of the wilderness, giving me a chance to attack. Kuang Shan had just walked to Xiao Changshan's stall, when he saw Feng Linger walking back to Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Hence, Kuang Shan did not even think about it, and led his group to chase after them. At that moment, the battlefield of the Starry Sky sect was in a heated state. Although the White Beast and Luolan were using a casual method to deal with the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak, due to the difference in their cultivation levels, the two of them gradually felt powerless. Senior brother, my saber can't hold on any longer. At this moment, Roland said loudly to the White Beast beside him. There's no other way. We can only summon by and Qing the White Beast said with a serious expression, because they knew that if this continued, the two of them would definitely be defeated by the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Boom! 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 At this moment, the White Beast and Lorraine exerted their strength at the same time. In an instant, an incomparably powerful pressure swept across the entire arena. Roar! Chirp dash! In an instant, a white lion that was dozens of meters tall appeared behind the White Beast. A huge green bird appeared above Lorraine's head, circling in the air. He was really overestimating himself. He actually dared to use his natal demonic beast to show off in front of an expert. He was simply courting death. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak looked at the actions of the two of them and snorted coldly in disdain. His own lifebound demonic beasts matched his strength. Even if these two people's lifebound demonic beasts combined, they were not his match. Boom! The people present only heard a loud bang. At this moment, an endless amount of dazzling light suddenly emitted from behind the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. In this instant, the power of the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak crushed everyone in the entire arena. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak is too formidable. In fact, some of the cultivators with lower cultivation levels were almost forced to kneel down by the power of the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master. It seems that the result of this competition will definitely be the victory of the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master. Seeing this scene, many people present thought to themselves that just this pressure alone was something that the White Beast and Lorraine from the Imperial Beast Peak could not compare to. Roar! Roar! Just as the light behind the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak retreated, everyone saw an incomparably huge gorilla standing there, panting heavily. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak's natal demonic beast was none other than a gigantic gorilla. Although it didn't look as mighty as other people's demonic beasts, its strength couldn't be underestimated. The gorilla only needed to step on the ground lightly, and the ground would tremble. When this gorilla walked, the entire ground seemed to be about to shake. Xing! Teach those two things in front of me a lesson. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak sneered at the two of them, before giving the order. Roar! In an instant, the gorilla released an earth-shattering spiritual energy. 80% of the pressure on the ground pressed down fiercely on the white lion and the green bird. It was extremely ferocious. Seeing this scene, the beast-taming Peak's Peak Master could not help but feel nervous. This was because the reason why this intrinsic immortal beast was called an intrinsic immortal beast was because it was one with its cultivator. If anything happened to their intrinsic immortal beast at this time, the White Beast and Lorraine would also be hurt. Bang! Bang! The gorilla of the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak did not show any mercy. Its pair of fists ruthlessly smashed towards the white lion of the White Beast. Chinger! Cyan Whirlwind Strike! Lorraine looked at the current scene without hesitation. She quickly had the huge green bird use Cyan Whirlwind Strike. Boom! Boom! Just as the gorilla's fists were about to land on the white lion's body, the Cyan Whirlwind Strike struck the gorilla's huge body. Dash! Damn it! How dare you plot against me? At this moment, not only was the gorilla forced back a few steps, but the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak also spat out a mouthful of blood. What happened? What was going on with the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak? That's right. How could a sacred sovereign be injured by those two young people? At that instant, everyone present could not help but feel their hearts tighten. They had the highest hopes for the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak today. They did not expect that such a situation would actually occur now. Xing! Use Astral Burst to let these two guys have a taste of your power. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak gritted his teeth and said, he had been careless just now. He didn't expect that this fellow would actually sneak attack his star. However, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was a person who would take revenge. Without the slightest bit of mercy, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak had this gorilla use his most powerful skill, Astral Collapse. Bang 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 dash. As soon as the words of the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master fell, the huge gorilla suddenly stood up and fiercely hammered its chest before letting out a loud roar. Baishur! White Lion Roar! The White Beast looked at the gorilla's sudden increase in pressure and shouted at Baishur without hesitation. Boom! Boom! Roar! Baishur quickly took 2 steps forward and spat out a huge halo from his mouth. Chinger! Cyan Whirlwind Strike! Lorraine, who was standing at the side, was not idle either. She watched Baishur exert his strength and similarly directed the green girl, who was circling in the air, to attack. My star has the strength of a sacred sovereign. Even if the two of you deal with it, you're definitely not my star's match. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said with disdain when he saw this scene. However, the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master didn't know that the White Lion's roar and the Cyan Whirlwind Strike of the White Beast and Lorraine were also skills with the strength of a sacred sovereign. They were more than enough to deal with the gorilla. Boom! When the gorilla saw the two rays of light heading towards it, its hands collided fiercely with them. Roar! The moment the gorilla's hands came into contact with the huge light, they were instantly blasted into a bloody mess. Roar! Roar! The huge gorilla shouted fiercely. Ah, damn it! Why? Why was it able to unleash such great power? At this moment, not only was the gorilla in excruciating pain, even the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak felt as if his hands were about to break. What's going on? What's going on with this 10,000 swords? Why are you constantly losing? That's right. If they lost this round, they would really be finished. One had to know that these people present had openly and secretly mocked Beast Trainer Peak countless times, because they were absolutely confident that Thousand Swords Peak would win. In the end, they ended up like this. Many people's faces darkened. At this moment, the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak was very happy. He knew that the White Beast and Lorraine's demonic beasts had awakened powerful skills from their seniors, but he didn't expect them to be so powerful. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 792. Lord White Tiger, spare me one. What's going on with this 10,000 swords? Do you really want me to take action personally? Looking at the scene on the battlefield, the Grand Master of the Starry Sky Sect said with a cold expression. Boom! Boom! At this moment, the situation on the stage had entered a white-hot stage. Everyone was staring at the scene on the stage. Chinger! Another azure whirlwind. At this moment, Lorraine and the White Beast were getting more and more adept at dealing with the huge gorilla of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. Bang! The gorilla, whose hands had been badly mutilated by the White Lion and the Green Bird's attack, had no intention of resisting. It could only raise its arms to block it. Bang! In that instant, the giant gorilla's arm was once again hit by the Green Bird's Cyan Whirlwind Strike. In the end, the giant gorilla took a few steps back. Roar! However, before the giant gorilla could come back to its senses, the White Lion at the side climbed up and bit the giant gorilla's neck. Ah, damn it! You guys are simply courting death. At this moment, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak felt intense pain all over his body. Looking at the miserable state of his intrinsic demonic beast, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak roared with bloodshot eyes. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. This was this. We're done for. Seeing this scene, everyone present could not help but swallow their saliva silently. Blood was splattering everywhere on the battlefield. There was not a single part of the gorilla's body that was not bleeding. At this moment, the entire battlefield was dyed red by the gorilla's blood. Roar! In the end, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak could not help but roar loudly. A violent pressure burst out from his entire body, and this pressure caused the surrounding air to instantly transform. Bang! Bang! Not only that, but the entire arena was emitting endless light. In an instant, all the light surged towards the giant gorilla that was being bitten. In an instant, the giant gorilla was drowned by the light. Not good. Junior sister. This old thief Myriad Swords was going to fight to the death. We have to take care of that gorilla before that. Looking at the gorilla that was surrounded by endless light, the White Beast looked at Lorraine and shouted, I know. Senior brother. Lorraine replied loudly to the White Beast. Bisher. Green Bird. White Lion's roar. Cyan Whirlwind Strike. The two of them gave an order to their intrinsic immortal beasts, and the White Lion and Green Bird instantly moved. Boom! Boom! A huge ring of light, and a straight beam of light struck the giant gorilla that was surrounded by light. At this moment, the entire sky became extremely dark, and the surroundings were filled with a cold wind. Not only that, but the people watching the battle felt an indescribable shock. Bang! The moment the two rays of light came into contact, An earth-shattering explosion sounded. Moreover, an extremely dazzling light instantly bloomed. Even if the people present had their eyes closed, they would still feel pain from the light. Why is there such a big commotion? Such a huge commotion alarmed Xiao Changtian, who was setting up a stall in Star Town at the foot of the mountain. In an instant, Xiao Changtian could not help but sigh. Please visit site histories. C0M, maybe Y0 you will eng 0, why the captivating SH0 RTSD0 rise. Why hasn't Linger returned after such a long time? Xiao Changtian couldn't help but mutter. At this moment in Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Ha ha ha, little girl, stop hiding. Come out quickly. Standing at the entrance of Xiao Changshan's courtyard, Kuang Shan laughed loudly and shouted. This was because on the way, Feng Ling had sensed Kuang Shan and the others following behind her. However, if Feng Ling's strength really went up against these people, she would not be a match at all. Therefore Feng Ling quickened her pace. Hey, did the girl inside hear that? If she doesn't come out, don't blame us for going in. Kuang Shan looked at Xiao Changshan's courtyard with an evil smile on his face. Since you're so tactless, don't blame me for being rough. After Kuang Shan finished speaking, he led everyone into Xiao Changshan's courtyard. However, just as Kuang Shan and the others were standing in the courtyard, the white tiger called out to them. Where did this bastard come from? Get lost. Kuang Shan looked at the little white cat blocking in front of him, impatience appearing on his face. This was because he hated these little animals the most. When he saw these little animals, Kuang Shan had the urge to strangle them to death. Therefore, when he saw the little white cat in front of him, Kuang Shan was no exception. He kicked fiercely at the little white cat in front of him. However, before Kuang Shan's feet could touch the little white cat's body, he suddenly felt as if his feet were broken. By white tiger. Run. Help. At this moment, the people who had followed Kuang Shan also screamed. Because at this moment, the little white cat in front of them was no longer a cat. It was clearly the legendary very powerful white tiger. An existence that they could not afford to offend even if they added up. Don't abandon the me. Kuang Shan had done so many evil things, and had never failed before. He did not expect to encounter such a terrifying thing this time. However, hearing Kuang Shan's words, no one paid any attention to him at all because at this moment, they were already scared out of their wits by the white tiger. Kuang Shan also wanted to escape as quickly as possible. However, he could clearly feel that his leg had been ruthlessly broken by the white tiger in front of him. By Lord White Tiger, please be magnanimous and spare me. I was just passing by accidentally. Please spare my dog life. I'm willing to do anything you want. Seeing that he no longer had a chance to escape, Kuang Shan could only tremble as he spoke to the white tiger. Because he had never felt the threat of death since he was born, but now he clearly felt the threat of death. If he didn't beg for mercy, he might really die in his small courtyard today. The white tiger looked at the human in front of it, and snorted disdainfully. This kind of person deserved to die. If this human was a demon beast, it could easily stomp him to death. However, this was a human. If its master came back, and saw the corpse of a human in its courtyard, it might not have any expression. If I wasn't afraid that master would be unhappy when he returned, you would have died here today. In the end, the white tiger looked at the mountain under his feet and snorted coldly. Hurry up and get lost. Don't let me see you again. Yes. Oh, get out. Oh, get out. Oh, get out now. After Kuang Shan heard White Tiger's words, his face instantly revealed an incomparably delighted expression. He rolled and crawled towards Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Thank you, Senior White Beast. Hearing the commotion outside, Feng Linger walked out and said to the white tiger. However, the white tiger only glanced at it indifferently before walking to the other side. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 793. Lost Linger, why are you so slow? After a while, Xiao Changtian couldn't help but ask Feng Ling who had finally arrived. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Feng Ling who had wanted to tell him what had happened, hesitated. After all, if she told Senior about such a small matter, Senior might find it annoying. Oh, Senior, I couldn't find it at first, so I was delayed. Feng Ling said with a smile. That's fine. I heard that the 100-year competition will end tomorrow. At that time, you won't have to work so hard to help here. Looking at Feng Ling Xiao Changtian said with a smile. Shouldn't it have ended yesterday? Feng Ling muttered absent-mindedly after hearing this. Because she knew that there would definitely be 2 matches in a day. And no matter how many matches there were, shouldn't the 10,000 Swords Peak win? However, he hadn't heard any news yet. Moreover, he heard that the competition was still ongoing. Could it be that something had gone wrong at the 10,000 Swords Peak? However, this thought was immediately thrown out of Feng Ling's mind, because she knew that this senior definitely wouldn't lie to her. The cultivation technique that he gave her was a peerless cultivation technique. How could something go wrong with the myriad Swords Peak that cultivated that cultivation technique? Feng Ling could not figure out what was going on, but she could only do it for the time being. At this moment, the light on the stage dissipated bit by bit, and everyone could finally open their eyes. Impossible. How is that possible? This can't be true. At this moment, everyone looked at the scene in front of them with disbelief on their faces, because they did not expect the outcome to be like this. On the stage, the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak's intrinsic demonic beast lay on the ground with a weak face. There was blood all around it, and countless streams of blood flowed down the stage like a small river. Even though the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak was not in the same miserable state as his own life-bound demonic beast, he was still kneeling on the ground alone, holding a long sword in his hand to support his body. No, it definitely won't. It definitely won't be like this. At this moment, the peak lord of 10,000 Swords Peak was kneeling on the ground, looking at the scene before him, as he muttered in disbelief. He didn't believe that his life-bound demonic beast was lying there on the verge of death. He also didn't believe that he, who had the strength of a sacred sovereign, would be defeated by these 2 sage masters. How is this possible? How could the sage master's men possibly defeat the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak? At this moment, many people present had their mouths agape when they saw this scene. They also could not believe that the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak had actually lost to the Imperial Beast Peak. Moreover, a dignified sacred sovereign was actually defeated by 2 sacred masters. Although the White Beast and Luo Lan had defeated the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak, they still retained the last bit of strength. This was because every time they let their natal demonic beasts use the skill that they had awakened from their seniors, they would consume half of their spiritual energy. Therefore, the 2 of them were in an extremely deficient state of spiritual power. If they did not replenish it in time, the consequences of their fear of heights would be unimaginable. Referee, our Imperial Beast Peak won, right? Taoist Master Wanshou naturally noticed that something was wrong between the White Beast and Lorraine, so he quickly said in a loud voice, "Sect Master, this?" The judge asked carefully when he saw the sect leader's expression. This was because everyone present knew that the sect master of the Starry Sky sect really wanted the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak to be the next sect master. However, such a situation had occurred. Therefore, the sect leader of Starry Sky sect looked gloomy and furious as he looked at the people on the field. It's over. We offended that beast trainer Peak previously. What should we do now? That's right. I didn't expect Beast Taming Peak to win in the end. This is something I never dreamed of. At this moment, everyone present was secretly annoyed. They were annoyed at how they had targeted Beast Taming Peak previously. Now the Starry Sky sect would belong to Beast Taming Peak in the future. Their sects had offended the Starry Sky sect. At this moment, all the sects present were filled with regret. If there was a cure for regret in this world, They would buy it no matter the price. Wait, I want to ask what saber technique the white beast used. At that moment, when everyone was waiting for the sect leader of Starry Sky Sect to announce the final result, the sect leader of Starry Sky Sect suddenly said, "I learned this from a senior." The white beast didn't say Xiao Changshan's name. This was because he was afraid that senior would be unhappy if he found out that he had scolded him in front of so many people. Senior. Upon hearing this, the sect master of Starry Sky Sect went completely crazy. It was not because of any other reason, but because when the white beast called him senior, the Starry Sky Sect's sect master suddenly thought of his sect master. At that time, he was also the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak. But this sect master had obstructed him in every possible way, not wanting him to become the next sect master. Moreover, he had even attacked him. How could the sect master of Starry Sky Sect forget that the sword technique that the sect master had used on him back then was 90% similar to the sword technique that the white beast had used? However, if it wasn't for the fact that the sect master of Starry Sky Sect was lucky, he would have been killed. You people learn secret arts. To cultivate such a saber technique, he simply deserves to die. The sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect instantly shouted at the white beast and Lorraine. Today, let the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect punish you. Then, the sect master of Starry Sky Sect jumped onto the fighting ring without saying a word. What was the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect doing? Looking at this scene, the people below the stadium could not help but say, the outcome of the battle was already very obvious. However, the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect had yet to announce the result. It was fine if he did not announce the result. Now he was even threatening others. He was simply bullying them. Sect Master, what are you doing? Master Taoist Wanshou did not expect the sect leader of the Stellar Sect to suddenly make such a move. Before he could react, he saw the sect leader of the Stellar Sect attack the white beast and Lorraine, who were already very weak. No! Seeing this scene, Taoist Wanshou widened his eyes and roared loudly. Pft! Cough 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 ha ha ha. Taoist Master Wanshou, so what if I lose? The sect master will never let your beast taming peak sit in this position. The peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak, who was kneeling on the ground, said proudly when he saw this scene. He knew that the sect master would not let this matter go. Senior brother. Seeing the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect attack her, and the white beast in an instant, Lorraine cried out in panic. Chirp dash. At this moment, a loud phoenix cry came from afar. This sounds like the voice of a phoenix. After hearing this voice, everyone present was once again shocked. They did not expect that the commotion here would alarm even Phoenix. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 794. The sect master of the Starry Sky Sect is dead. 1. How dare you touch my people? Right at this moment, a world-shaking phoenix sound came from the main air. Really, it really is a phoenix. As soon as the phoenix's voice fell, a huge figure suddenly appeared in the sky. That figure covered the sky and the sun. At this moment, even the sun was covered by this figure. Immediately after, everyone saw Phoenix's fiery red figure appear above the arena. The red on her body seemed to be burning with flames. Moreover, the tens of meters long phoenix made everyone present feel a strong burning sensation. How? What's going on? Looking at the figure that suddenly appeared in the air, the Starry Sky Sect's sect master's hand froze. How could he not know what had appeared at this moment? However, the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect did not dare to imagine that he, 2 juniors from the Imperial Beast Peak, had provoked the phoenix. How dare you? How can my people tolerate you attacking? At that moment, the phoenix in the sky looked at the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect and said angrily, Fong. Phoenix, front. Senior, I'm just punishing 2 juniors. I really didn't mean to offend you. Looking at the phoenix in the sky, the Grand Master of the Starry Sky Sect said with a trembling voice, Could this phoenix be related to the Imperial Beast Peak? You're still unrepentant even when you're about to die. You actually dare to quibble in front of me. Phoenix's face darkened when she heard the words of the sect leader of Starry Sky Sect. Phoenix knew that since Senior had given him to Beast Taming Peak, it must be to protect Beast Taming Peak. Moreover, this Lorraine had the 100 Birds physique, which would be of help to her. However, this blind sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect dared to act so arrogantly against the Imperial Beast Peak in front of her. No matter what, Phoenix would not let him off. Senior Phoenix. Senior Phoenix. I really didn't know that this was your person. You must investigate it clearly. The Grandmaster of Starry Sky Sect looked at Phoenix in horror. He could already feel the increasingly intense heat emanating from the body of the Phoenix. What? How did this happen? This scene not only made the Starry Sky Sect's sect master panic, but even the myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master's expression became incomparably terrified. Why did this Phoenix want to help Beast Taming Peak? Expert. Expert. It must be that expert's doing. Looking at the scene in front of him, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak suddenly reacted. This expert must have been secretly helping the Imperial Beast Peak. Otherwise, how could such a situation have happened today? At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak had already realized that he had completely lost this time. Not only had he lost to the Imperial Beast Peak, but he had also lost to his own carelessness. Senior Phoenix, you really can't treat me like this. The sect master of Starry Sky Sect shouted loudly at this moment. How long-winded. In midair, Phoenix looked at the sect leader of Starry Sky Sect and rolled her eyes in disdain. Then, he waved his wings and sent out a ball of light that smashed fiercely at the sect leader of Starry Sky Sect on the stage. At this moment, there was only one word in the mind of the Grandmaster of Starry Sky Sect. Run! However, at this moment, the sect leader of Starry Sky Sect felt as if his legs were filled with lead. He could not lift them even if he wanted to. Boom! A loud explosion resounded through the world. The moment the fiery red ball of light came into contact with the sect master of Starry Sky Sect, a raging fire rose in the surroundings. The flames instantly burned more than 10 meters high. Quickly use your spiritual energy to protect your body. The people below the stage looked at the scene before them in horror. They could not believe that such a powerful sect master of the Starry Sky Sect had been killed by the Phoenix just like that. They were also very panicked, because they did not need to guess to know that this Phoenix had come to reveal her identity to the Imperial Beast Peak. Previously, their sects had been dealing with the Imperial Beast Peak in the open and in the dark. If this Phoenix was angry, she would burn all of them to death. Wouldn't that be the end? The Starry Sky Sect's sect master, who was hit by the fiery red ball of light, let out a scream that was instantly drowned out by the huge flames. At this moment, the White Beast and Lorraine, who were protected by the Phoenix, looked at the flames around them and did not suffer any damage. The Phoenix in the air saw that the soul of the sect master of Starry Sky Sect had been burned to ashes in her flames. Therefore, she flapped her wings once again. In an instant, the huge flames that were burning on the battlefield were all retracted by Phoenix. Thank you, Senior Phoenix. The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak looked at the White Beast and Lorraine, who were unharmed on the field, and hurriedly stood up to speak to the Phoenix in midair. There's no need to thank me. I'm just following Senior's instructions. Phoenix looked at the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak and said slowly. After saying that, the huge Phoenix flew away into the distance. How could the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak not know that the person they should be most grateful to was Xiao Changtian? The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak had already thought it through. After this matter was over, the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak would definitely go to Xiao Changtian personally to thank him. At this moment, the referee stood below the stage and watched this scene in horror. And announce it. Our Imperial Beast Peak has won the 100-year competition. The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak slowly stood up and looked at the judge. I hereby announce that the Imperial Beast Peak is the victor of this 100-year competition. Although the judge was the man of the sect master of Starry Sky Sect, he did not dare to act rashly, since the sect master of Starry Sky Sect was already dead. Therefore he announced loudly, Imperial Beast Peak. I, Wan Jian, swear that I won't let this go. At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak had already fled far away. He gritted his teeth as he watched this scene. Their 10,000 Swords Peak was completely finished. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. Don't go. Do you want to give us an explanation? Just as the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was about to sneak away, a few people suddenly surrounded him and said, "You guys, do you want to go against our 10,000 Swords Peak?" The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak looked at the few people in front of him and said with anger on his face, "Ha ha ha, 10,000 swords, oh 10,000 swords, you're really funny." After hearing the words of the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master, that person laughed out loud and said, "You've already lost. The Imperial Beast Peak won the 100-year tournament this time." "That's right. Our sects have donated a lot of assets to support your 10,000 Swords Peak's victory this time. Now, you have to give us an explanation." "That's right. If you don't give us an explanation, we won't let you off easily." These people had only dared to threaten the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak so brazenly when they saw that the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak was in his weakest state. "Everyone give our Phoenix Perch Peak some face. Don't make things difficult for Wang Jian." At this moment, the Phoenix Nest Peak Master walked over and said to everyone, "All right, if you return us all the money we paid, we won't pursue the matter anymore." That person looked at the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak and said disdainfully, "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 795. We were in the wrong just now. 1. At this moment, these people felt that this Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master before them really had no foresight. He actually took a fancy to this Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master. Although they had also misjudged, they would not defend the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master like the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master. "Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak, what kind of time is it now? You're still protecting the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. Why don't you think about it? The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak is no longer the next sect master of Stellar Sect." That person looked at the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak and said disdainfully. The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master naturally also recognized this point. The reason why she stopped these people earlier was because she had been with the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master for so many years. "Phoenix Peak's Peak Master, you have to think carefully. If you continue to be stubborn like this, not only will the Imperial Beast Peak deal with you, but even we won't let you off easily." The surrounding people looked at the Phoenix Nest Peak Master in front of them with fierce expressions on their faces. "Wang Jian, it's not that I don't want to help you, but in this situation, I'm really powerless." In the end, the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master looked at the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master beside him and sighed helplessly. "Fenger, are you going to betray me at this time?" Looking at the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master beside him, the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master widened his eyes in disbelief and asked, "Wang Jian, I can't just think about me alone. There are still many people in our Phoenix Perch Peak who want to live." The Phoenix Peak Master sighed helplessly and slowly said. After saying that, he walked into the distance. You. At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was so infuriated by the resolute figure of the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak that his eyes widened. "You guys, all of you, my 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master will make you pay the price sooner or later." At this moment, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak's eyes were bloodshot as he looked at these people and gritted his teeth. Although the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was extremely furious at this moment, he no longer had the strength to fight with these people. If these people really wanted to capture him, in order to curry favor in front of the Imperial Beast Peak, they would definitely not let him off easily. Therefore, there was only one thought in the mind of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak at this moment, and that was to escape as soon as possible. Whoosh whoosh. Just as everyone was looking at the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak in front of them, and was about to make a move, a faint black fog suddenly came from the surroundings. Bang! Bang! The moment the black fog touched these people, they fell to the ground one after another. Who is it? The peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak said in horror when he saw the scene before him. He couldn't even deal with these people, and now there were such black fog. Did they really want him to die here today? 10,000 swords. Don't you want revenge? An ethereal voice sounded in the ears of the myriad Swords Peak's peak master. Come with me. I promise I will let you take revenge. Before the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak could reply, the voice spoke again. Immediately after, a ball of black fog enveloped the peak master of the myriad Swords Peak. In an instant, the peak master of the myriad Swords Peak disappeared from his spot. And at this moment, the sovereign of the imperial beasts was surrounded by people. Congratulations, peak master of the imperial beast peak. That's right, that's right. I didn't expect you to be so well hidden and actually defeat that Wan Jianfeng. That's right, that's right. It really shocked us. These people were basically the ones who had mocked the imperial beast peak before. However, the 10,000 Swords Peak had exceeded their expectations this time. Therefore, these people could only come to the side of the beast taming peak's peak master and say respectfully, "Humph, you people, don't think that my master will forgive you just because you said a few good words. When you mock others, you should think about whether you can bear the consequences." At this moment, the white beast stood up and said loudly to everyone. After the phoenix's fire bath, the internal injuries of the white beast and Lorraine had mostly recovered. Therefore, the white beast and Lorraine were still alive and kicking. Peak master of the imperial beast peak. No, it's the beast tamer sect master. It was our fault just now. We were all blinded by that myriad Swords Peak's peak master. Beast tamer sect master, you have to believe us. Hearing the white beast's words, many people immediately stood up and explained. You guys should go back first. No one expected the sudden change in our Starry Sky sect. After our stellar sect has settled its internal affairs, you can come and visit us again. Looking at these people, the peak master of beast taming peak finally gave the order to leave impatiently. When these people saw Taoist master Wanxia's resolute appearance, they wanted to fight for something more. But they could only do so. 10,000 beasts. Just after everyone left, the Phoenix Nest Peak's peak master walked to the side of the beast taming peak's peak master and shouted, what are you trying to do? Seeing the Phoenix Nest Peak's peak master walk in front of the beast control peak's peak master, Feng Ling immediately stood up and said, Taoist master Wanxiu, I know that my Phoenix Perch Peak has always let you down, but we can't resist Myriad Swords Peak. The peak master of Phoenix Perched Peak put on a pitiful expression and said to Reverend Wanxiu, Ha ha ha, this is really funny. Is there anyone in our sect who doesn't know what your relationship with Wan Jian is? Or do you really think that I, Taoist master Wanxiu, am that easy to bully? Taoist master Wanxiu looked at the peak master of Phoenix Nest Peak in front of him and said mockingly, Therefore, there will be someone who will decide your matters fairly. Don't be hypocritical here. Me, the peak master of Phoenix Perched Peak, had never thought that this Taoist master Wanxiu would be so powerful that he was rendered speechless in an instant. And at this moment, after Wild Wind's Wulong knew that Kuang Shan had left, he also rushed back to the sect as fast as he could. This was because he knew that this junior brother of his had definitely gone to look for that woman with the glass physique. However, according to the report of the cultivator, who had just run back, the situation was not optimistic. At this moment in the whole Gale sect, Uncle, you must avenge me. At this moment, Kuang Shan had already returned to the whole Gale sect. He had dragged this broken leg of his and fled back to the whole Gale sect by himself. Damn it, who dared to hurt you like this? The fierce Gale sect master looked at Kuang Shan's miserable state and said with a face full of anger, Uncle, right in Star Town. That woman, it was all because of that woman. Kuang Shan furiously recalled the situation back then. He felt that the woman had deliberately lured him to that courtyard. Stellar Town. Alright. Then I'm going to flatten that starry town right now. Shaner, don't worry. I'll help you take revenge no matter what. The Fierce Wind Sect Master said to Kuang Shan. To think that his nephew would receive such treatment there. Not only did he want to flatten this starry town, But he also wanted the starry sect to give him an explanation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 796, Mission 1. Sect Master, you can't do that. At this moment, Wulong's voice suddenly came from outside the door. Why not? This was an injury sustained in the territory of the Star City sect. What was wrong with me asking for an explanation? Looking at Wulong, who was walking over, the fierce Gale sect master's face was filled with anger as he said, "You didn't even know to protect your junior brother." Wulong looked at the whole Gale sect master and sighed helplessly in his heart. He knew that their sect master would definitely be like this. Sect master, the situation in the Starry Sky sect is very complicated now, because in this 100-year competition, the 10,000 Swords Peak lost, but the Beast Trainer Peak won. You don't know what the Beast Trainer Peak's Peak Master will do. Wulong briefly explained the situation of the Starry Sky sect. He definitely knew that their sect master had dared to demand an explanation so brazenly, because he had previously been on good terms with the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. However, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was already finished. It would definitely be a little difficult to find the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak to demand an explanation. What? 10,000 Swords Peak lost? Hearing this news, the fierce Gale sect master, who was originally incomparably furious, immediately sobered up. How could the 1,000 Swords Peak lose? Wasn't he absolutely confident that he could win this competition? Sect Master, I was seriously observing that Imperial Beast Peak the entire time. That Imperial Beast Peak seemed to have hooked up with some expert, which was why they were able to win this competition. Wulong slowly voiced out his thoughts. That was because their fierce Gale sect was a sect that had a very good relationship with the Myriad Swords Peak. As long as the Myriad Swords Peak needed many things, their fierce Gale sect would give them. The treasures they provided to the Myriad Swords Peak were also not a small number. It was because they had hopes that the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak would become the sect master. By then, they would be able to enjoy the resources of the Starry Sky sect. But now, such a result had been given to him. It was difficult for the fierce Gale sect master not to be angry, even if he wanted to. Looks like I have to go to the Starry Sky sect this time. In the end, the fierce Gale sect master muttered to himself for a moment before saying. At that time, Xiao Changtian finally closed his stall. Aya, we've earned a lot this time. Seeing so many gold coins in his purse, Xiao Changtian revealed a satisfied smile. Linger, let's hurry up and pack up. We're closing up. All right, senior. Feng Linger immediately replied. Although Feng Linger was packing her things, she was absent-minded. Because she had been observing the surrounding scene. Logically speaking, now that the grand tournament had ended, there should be news that the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak had won. But now, she looked at the people who passed by Starry Town after leaving Starry Sky sect with an unhappy and dissatisfied expression on their faces. What was going on? Did something happen to the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak? Senior, you can choose to go back. I still have some things I haven't bought. In the end, Feng Linger couldn't help but say to Xiao Changtian. Alright then, take care of yourself. Xiao Changtian didn't care so much. After cleaning up, he flew back to his courtyard. After seeing Xiao Changtian leave, Feng Linger immediately turned into a stream of light and flew towards the direction of the Phoenix Peak. When Feng Linger walked to the entrance of the Phoenix Perch Peak, she looked at the cold and cheerless surroundings and secretly cried out in her heart. If Wanjian Peak won, how could their Phoenix Perch Peak be in such a situation? Master. Without any hesitation, Feng Linger quickly walked towards the sleeping chamber of the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak. Bang! However, just as Feng Linger stepped into the door, a teacup suddenly came at her. Feng Linger couldn't dodge in time, and was knocked back a few steps before she sat down on the ground. Master? What's going on? Feng Linger looked at the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master in the room, and asked in confusion. Feng Linger, you still have the cheek to ask me what I mean? At this moment, The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master was so angry that he almost laughed at Fenglinger's actions. Master, I really don't know what you're talking about. Fenglinger asked with a dumbfounded expression when she saw the Phoenix Nest Peak Master's reaction. What was going on? Shouldn't he, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak, have won? Looking at the Sect Master's appearance, it seemed that the outcome was not what he had imagined. Fenglinger, my Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master wanted to help you take revenge. In the end, you used this method to repay me? The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master said angrily. Using the cultivation technique you brought back, the 10,000 Swords Peak has lost completely. Master, don't joke around. How is that possible? How can we lose? Although Fenglinger had already vaguely guessed the result, she still couldn't believe it when she heard the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master personally say it. That cultivation technique was personally given to me by Senior. How could I lose to that beast-taming peak? Fenglinger muttered in disbelief. She really didn't want to accept this outcome. Moreover, she knew that the cultivation technique that Senior had given her was absolutely flawless. There's no need to explain anymore. Fenglinger, from now on, you're no longer a member of our Phoenix Perch Peak. I won't help you take revenge. The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak looked at Fenglinger and said slowly, Master, don't be like this. I swear that there's absolutely no problem with that cultivation technique. Fenglinger said anxiously. She wasn't afraid of anything, but she was afraid that the Phoenix Nest Peak Master wouldn't avenge her. Seeing Fenglinger like this, the Phoenix Perch Peak's Peak Master immediately had a plan. That's right, since the situation had already turned out like this, why not change the method? If he couldn't take down this Imperial Beast Peak, he could let Fenglinger work harder to take down that expert. In this competition, that expert must have been helping their Beast Trainer Peak behind the scenes. Otherwise, how could Beast Trainer Peak have won? From this, it could be seen that the expert's strength was definitely extraordinary. When the time came, would they still be afraid of Beast Trainer Peak after dealing with the expert? Fenglinger, since you're so sincere, I'll solemnly give you a mission now. The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak looked at Fenglinger and said with a serious expression, Master, as long as you don't chase me out of Phoenix Perch Peak, I'll do anything. Fenglinger immediately replied happily when she heard the words of the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master. All right, since you admit your mistakes so well, then this Sect Master will give you this mission. You must become the Tao companion of an expert. The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master looked at Fenglinger and said with a firm gaze, Tao companion? Hearing this, Fenglinger was so shocked that her mouth was wide open. She couldn't believe that the Peak Master would give her such a mission. Are you unwilling? Looking at Fenglinger's expression, the Phoenix Nest Peak Master's expression immediately changed, and he said unhappily, No. I tried my best to complete the mission you gave me, but I don't know if I can succeed in the end. Fenglinger immediately explained, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 797. Thank you 1. As long as we can catch the expert, your revenge will not be a problem. The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak looked at Fenglinger and nodded. Although the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak had fallen this time, there was still an expert. At that time, in Beast Taming Peak. Lan it's all thanks to Senior's help in this competition. So, the two of you will come with me tomorrow. We have to properly thank Senior. The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak looked at the two of them and said with a serious expression, Yes. The two of them nodded heavily. After the two of them left, the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak went straight to the 10,000 Swords Peak. You damned old man. You actually dare to come to our 10,000 Swords Peak. At this moment, Qin Shou was lying on his bed in the Myriad Swords Peak, gritting his teeth as he spoke loudly. Qin Shou, I didn't come to find you. I came to find your father. The Peak Master of Imperial Beast Peak did not care about Qin Shou's madness, and only asked indifferently, You old man, how dare you mention my father? Didn't you capture my father? After Qin Shou heard the words of the beast-taming Peak's Peak Master, he was so angry that he almost jumped out of bed. If it wasn't for the fact that Qin Shou's body was covered in injuries and couldn't get up, he would probably have stood up from the bed and been stunned by the pain. This was because Qin Shou had just received news that after the end of the 100-year competition, his father had disappeared without a trace. Therefore, it was definitely this beast-taming Peak's Peak Master who wanted to take revenge on them. Since your father has run away, I won't pursue the matter for now. The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak looked at the flustered and exasperated Qin Shou in front of him and ignored his words. This was because he was certain that Qin Shou had not captured the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Therefore, this Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak must have run away. The Beast Tamer Peak's Peak Master didn't stay here for long and went back. This old man, you will definitely pay the price. Qin Shou had gone completely mad because he had lost everything that should have belonged to him. Not only had his father lost his position as the sect master, but he had also been defeated in such an embarrassing manner. How could Qin Shou be willing? The next day, just as the sun rose, the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak brought the white beast and Luo Lan to Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Xiao Changtian didn't expect that the moment he opened the door, these three people would stand in front of his door, giving him a big fright. Uncle Wanshou, why are you here so early in the morning? Xiao Changtian asked Master Wanshou after a while. Senior, thank you for your guidance. Taoist Master Wanshou bowed to Xiao Changtian. If not for you, we would really be finished this time. Xiao Changtian looked at Wanshou in confusion. Uncle Wanshou, don't be like this. I didn't help much. No, Senior, if it wasn't for your careful guidance, we would have been finished, the white beast said. Immediately, Xiao Changtian understood what was going on. This family must have gone out hunting these 2 days. The method he taught them just happened to save their lives. There's no need to thank me for this. I just taught him casually. Xiao Changtian waved his hand at them. Senior, please keep this for now. Take it as a thank you gift from us. Seeing Xiao Changtian like this, the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak took out a huge long saber. This saber was no ordinary saber. It was the most powerful treasured weapon in the Starry Sky Sect's treasure vault. Taoist Master Wanshou had specially gone to the treasure room of the Starry Sky Sect last night to find it, just to give it to Senior as a thank you gift. Xiao Changtian was shocked when he saw the saber. This was because this saber looked very new, and the material it was made of did not seem to be ordinary. This family must have spent a lot of gold coins to buy this saber to thank him. This family was really too kind. He had only taught them some basic saber techniques, and they thanked him like this. Uncle Wanshou, I appreciate your kindness, but you should take this saber back. Xiao Changtian looked at Master Wanshou and said slowly, this family didn't seem to be living well, and now they spent so many gold coins to buy him a big sword. He couldn't accept it. Senior, you have to accept this because we really don't have anything to thank you with. Taoist Master Wanshou said hurriedly when he saw that Xiao Changtian didn't accept it. This was the most powerful treasure in the Starry Sky Sect. There was nothing else. Xiao Changtian looked at Taoist Master Wanshou's stubborn appearance. He was afraid that if he rejected him again, he might kneel down. So he nodded and said, Uncle Wanshou, in that case, I'll accept this saber. By the way, Uncle Wanshou, since you're already here, let's have lunch here. Xiao Changtian said to Master Wanshou. Good. Taoist Master Wanshou replied happily. Since Senior wanted them to stay for dinner, he definitely had no objections to them. Senior, let me help you. The white beast and Lorraine looked at Xiao Changtian in the kitchen and quickly went in. All right, help me wash the vegetables. Xiao Changtian didn't refuse and said with a smile. Not long after, a few dishes were served on the dining table. Taoist Wanshou's eyes widened as he looked at the dishes in front of him. Every dish emitted an extremely powerful aura. Just by looking at it, it already had such great power. The help it would bring him was even more indescribable. As he looked at the dishes, Master Taoist Wanshou pondered. Since Senior was already at such a realm, why did he still set up a stall in their small star town? How could a person like Senior lack money? Linger, come and eat. Xiao Changtian shouted to the backyard after he brought all the dishes. All right, senior, I'm here. Feng Ling, who had been in the backyard, walked out happily. Feng Ling. Taoist Master Wancha's thoughts were instantly pulled back when he saw Feng Ling. Suddenly, Taoist Master Wanshou recalled that Wan Jian had said that they had received guidance from an expert. He looked at Feng Ling in front of him and instantly understood. It turned out that this was how Senior helped him. He knew the character of that 10,000 swords peak and specially asked Feng Ling to bring back a fake cultivation method. I almost forgot that you two know each other. Ha ha ha, don't stand on ceremony. Eat. Xiao Changtian looked at them and smiled. Feng Ling looked at Master Wanshou and sat down in embarrassment. By the way, Senior, why did you want to open a stall in Stars Town? Master Wanshou asked Xiao Changtian in confusion. Aren't you going to the Prophecy Pavilion to exchange for some information? But I don't have enough gold coins. Xiao Changtian didn't hide anything from Uncle Wanshou. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 798. Looking for the Spirit Tree Seed. 1. Exchange information? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Master Taoist Wanshou was confused. Shouldn't an expert like Senior know everything? Why would he need to go to the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets to exchange for it? Could this be the difference between the experts and these ordinary people? That's right. I'm looking for high-grade spirit tree seeds, but I don't know where they are. Therefore, I can only rely on the secret pavilion to buy information. However, that information was a little expensive, so he wanted to set up a stall. Xiao Changtian looked at the people he liked and said slowly, Senior, are you looking for the spirit tree seed? Master Wanshou asked Xiao Changtian. This high-level spirit tree seed was indeed not so easy to obtain. Even in the entire wild forbidden land, one might not be able to find one. Therefore, if he wanted information about that seed, he would definitely have to go to the secret pavilion to exchange for information. Yes, the spirit tree seeds are what I need the most now, so I decided to set up a stall in Star Town. Xiao Changtian smiled. So that was the case. After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak nodded secretly. Since Senior wanted to find the spirit tree seed, he had to help Senior no matter what. Feng Ling also knew about this news. So Senior wanted to find the spirit tree seed. Then no matter what, he had to go back and tell the Phoenix Nest Peak Master about this. Senior, if you don't mind, I've got a bigger shop this time. You can go and take a look. Master Wanshou looked at Xiao Changtian and instantly remembered that the Starry Sky sect had a big shop in Starry Sky Town. However, due to some reasons it had been idle. Moreover, the shop was located in the center of Starry Sky Town and had a lot of customers. Oh, Uncle Wanshou, I didn't expect you to have such a huge harvest this time, Xiao Changtian said in surprise after hearing Master Wanshou's words. He didn't expect that Uncle Wanshou and the others would actually obtain a shop after going out for a few days. It seemed that this elder Wanshou was really lucky. Yes, Senior. Why don't you follow me to take a look later? Master Wanshou asked Xiao Changtian. Oh, that's great, Xiao Changtian said happily. If Uncle Wanshou's shop was a little bigger, it probably wouldn't take long for him to save up enough money to buy information from the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. After the meal, Xiao Changtian didn't hesitate and followed Master Wanshou and the others towards Stellar Town. At this moment, the Fierce Gale Sect Master was already standing at the edge of the desolate Forbidden Land. Looks like it's in here. The Fierce Wind Sect Master looked at the desolate Forbidden Land and said with a cold smile. Although he was here to look for the Starry Sky sect, before he went to the Starry Sky sect, the sect master of the Fierce Wind sect had to deal with the woman who injured Kuang Shan first. And Wu Long, who was at the side, could not stop the whole Gale sect master at all. Because Wu Long knew that how could a person with a glazed physique possibly stay in such a terrifying forbidden area for no reason. Wu Long, follow me and avenge your junior brother. After saying that, The fierce Gale sect master walked inside. At this moment, Feng Ling took advantage of the fact that the demonic beasts in the backyard were not paying attention and tiptoed out of the courtyard. She wanted to quickly tell the Phoenix Peak Master that Xiao Changtian was looking for the spirit tree seed. Stop. However, not long after Feng Ling walked out of the small courtyard, she met the people from the whole Gale sect who were walking towards her. Glaze physique? Ha ha ha, what a coincidence. I was just about to look for you, but I didn't expect you to appear on your own. This saves us a lot of trouble. The sect master of the whole Gale sect looked at Feng Ling and laughed loudly. You? Who are you? Feng Ling narrowed her eyes and looked at the people in front of her. She didn't know what these people wanted to do and why they were stopping her. I'm the sect master of the fierce Gale sect. You little girl. You were the one who injured Kuang Shan to such a state the last time. Looking at Feng Ling the fierce sect master didn't beat around the bush and said directly, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know that Kuang Shan. Feng Ling looked at them with a baffled expression. Although Feng Ling had heard of this Gale sect before, and this Gale sect was said to be a sect that had a good relationship with the 10,000 Swords Peak, this Kuang Shan had never heard of this name before. You still dare to quibble? The Gale sect master looked at Feng Ling's stubborn refusal to admit it, and anger instantly appeared on his face. Hee, the last time, it was Kuang Shan who followed you into this place, that's why he was injured like that. So now you want to deny it? When Feng Ling heard this, she realized that it was indeed that man who had brought a group of people back to Senior's small courtyard with her. In the end, one of his feet was stepped on by the white beast. You are here to avenge him. Feng Ling realized that her current realm was not good, because she was already surrounded by the people of the Gale sect master in front of her. Even if she wanted to escape to Senior's small courtyard now, she had no way out. Looks like you remembered. Ha ha ha, that's right. Miss with the glaze physique, come back with me. In order to make it up to Kuang Shan, you can be his bed-warming maid. The fierce Gale sect master looked at Feng Ling and laughed. With this method of his, Kuang Shan would definitely be happy when he returned. Fierce Wind Sect Master, I'm the Holy Maiden of Phoenix Perch Peak. Aren't you afraid that Phoenix Perch Peak will look for you if you dare to treat me like this? Looking at the whole Gale sect master's expression, Feng Ling told him about the Phoenix Perching Peak. Yo! And she's the saintess of the Wind Perch Peak. When the fierce Gale sect master heard this, the smile on his face deepened. Your Phoenix Perch Peak still has the nerve to shout here. Do you think I don't know that your Phoenix Perch Peak is in cahoots with Wanjian Peak? Now Wanjian Peak has completely lost. You still have the cheek to talk to me about Phoenix Perching Peak now. The fierce Gale sect master said to Feng Ling disdainfully. She didn't know why Feng Ling still had the cheek to mention her Phoenix Perching Peak. You guys. Feng Ling looked at the Gale sect master in front of her, and was extremely anxious. This was because the strength of this Gale sect master alone was not low. Now there were so many cultivators beside him. She simply could not deal with them. That woman with the glaze physique seems to have encountered some trouble now. At this moment, the white beast was standing in the small courtyard of Changtian, and looking into the distance. How troublesome. That woman. If Master finds out, I wonder if he'll be angry. The black tortoise looked into the distance and said slowly, Then I'll go and take a look. The white tiger said helplessly. Since this woman was found by his master, if something really happened, his master would definitely be unhappy. Are you going to come with us obediently, or do you want us to do it? The fierce Gale sect master looked at Feng Ling in front of him and said, You guys, if Senior finds out that you've treated me like this, he'll definitely not let you off. Feng Ling looked at the people around her, and finally said loudly, Ha ha ha, Senior. At this time, even if the heavens came, it would be useless. The fierce Gale sect master said disdainfully, If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 799 equals Let Feng Ling Ergo he knew that this 10,000 Swords Peak had found an expert who had given them a peerless cultivation technique. He still lost miserably. At this moment in Star Town. "Senior, this is it," Master Wanshou said as he brought Xiao Changtian to look at the old shop. "I didn't expect this, Uncle Wanshou. This shop is located in the center of the town. With such a good location, it will definitely be very popular in the future." Xiao Changtian nodded in satisfaction. He had originally thought that Uncle Wanshou had found a slightly bigger shop. He did not expect that this shop was not only big, but also had such a good location. Business would definitely be booming in the future. Oh right, how did Uncle Wanshou get his hands on this shop? Such a place must have cost a lot of money. Xiao Changtian sighed. Logically speaking, how could a family like Uncle Wanshou get such a shop? "Senior, I got this from a relative of mine. Didn't he just pass away?" Taoist Master Wanshou immediately explained, because he knew that the expert had returned to his original state. So he also cooperated. No wonder. Xiao Changtian nodded his head. This Uncle Wanshou was really lucky to have such a rich distant relative. However, this was also good. He was just worrying about how he could earn more. And the next second, the opportunity came. At that moment, in the forbidden area of the wilderness. Boom! Boom! The white tiger slowly walked out of Xiao Changshan's courtyard. What is this? Hearing this commotion, the expressions of the people present instantly changed. "Don't tell me this mountain's demon beast is here," someone murmured. The reason why the fierce Gale sect master dared to come to the desolate forbidden land to look for Feng Ling was because when Kuang Shan returned, he did not tell the fierce Gale sect master that he was injured by the white tiger. He only asked the sect master to avenge him, because this Kuang Shan believed that this white tiger definitely appeared in the small courtyard by chance. Roar! Then, the white tiger slowly appeared in front of everyone. There's actually a white tiger here. Seeing the white tiger's figure suddenly appear in front of them, everyone present was shocked. Even the fierce Gale sect master could not help but tremble a little. This was because a divine beast like the white tiger was very rare in the Jade Lake sacred world. Even if there was one in the desolate forbidden land, it would usually only appear in the deepest depths of the desolate forbidden land. Now it had appeared in the periphery of the desolate forbidden land. How could this not make people terrified? Looking at the white tiger, Wulong grabbed Feng Ling. The fierce Gale sect master might not know what injured Kuang Shan, but Wulong knew that Kuang Shan was injured by the white tiger. Therefore, this white tiger was definitely here to save this woman. "You humans, quickly release the girl in your hands. Otherwise, I won't let you off so easily." Sure enough, when Wulong grabbed Feng Ling, the white tiger looked at Wulong and said fiercely, "If you want us to let her go, we can, but you have to let us leave safely." At this moment, the fierce Gale sect master no longer had that arrogant aura from before as he said to the white tiger, "As long as you let her go, you can leave safely. I don't care about lying to you." The white tiger said slowly, "If it wasn't for the fact that this woman was brought back by Senior, he wouldn't have wanted to care about this matter at all. Oh, keep my word." The fierce Gale sect master commanded Wulong to gradually retreat. Finally, the fierce Gale sect master retreated to the border of the desolate forbidden land. "Put Feng Ling down and you can leave," the white tiger said slowly when he saw that they had reached the border. Although these people from the whole Gale sect were very afraid at this moment, they still slightly let go of the weapons in their hands. "Here you go." Wulong pushed Feng Ling to the white tiger's side, and then turned around to run. "Feng Ling, if you run around again, your ending might not be so good." After seeing those people leave, the white tiger glanced at Feng Ling and said, seeing the white tiger like this, Feng Ling was so frightened that she nodded repeatedly. At that time, the group of people from the whole Gale sect had already run to Star Town. "Wulong, quickly go and investigate for this sect master. Who is that expert who helped the 10,000 Swords Peak? Just now, that white tiger protected that woman so much. Could it be that that white tiger is a pet of that expert?" The fierce Gale sect master said to Wulong with a solemn expression at this moment. Because if it was really an expert, he really couldn't offend him. At this moment, Xiao Changtian looked at the shop with satisfaction. By the way, Uncle Wanshou, how do you think we should split the profits? Xiao Changtian suddenly turned around and asked. Senior, let's do as we did before. After all, our place is empty. Taoist Master Wanshou immediately said. He originally wanted to give this shop to Senior, but it seemed that Senior would definitely not accept it. Therefore, the profits of this shop should be based on the previous ones. All right then. Xiao Changtian didn't refuse. Since Senior has taken a good look, then I won't disturb you anymore. Originally, Taoist Master Wanshou wanted to follow Senior and watch for a while longer. In the end, when he glanced over, he saw those people from the Fierce Gale sect who had suddenly walked over from afar. Taoist Master Wanshou had heard yesterday that the person from the Fierce Wind sect was coming to demand an explanation from them. According to the temperament of their sect, they would definitely pester them. One had to know that this Fierce Gale sect's sect master was not someone to be trifled with. All right, Uncle Wanshou, you go ahead and do your thing. I'll clean up this place. Then, Xiao Changtian waved his hand at Master Wanshou. Within the Myriad Sword's peak. Uncle Qin, I want to avenge my father. Qin Shou looked at Uncle Qin and said with a firm expression. That damned old man. I'll definitely make Beast Trainer Peak pay the price. Young master, good for you, but now is not the time. Who knows where the Peak Master is hidden by that immortal Wanying? Uncle Qin said slowly. By the way, young master, I heard that Beast Tamer Feng has even opened a shop for the Starry Sky sect in Starry Sky Town. The shop of the Starry Sky sect? Is it the one in the town center? Qin Shou asked thoughtfully when he heard this. Yes, the sect master is from that family. He just received the news today. Uncle Qin reported to Qin Shou. Since that's the case, then no matter what, I'll mess up their plans. After my injuries recover, I'll personally go and deal with this beast taming peak. Qin Shou's expression was cold and gloomy. He looked at the beast taming peak in the distance with a face full of anger. He wanted to avenge himself and his father. At that time, in the Starry Sky sect there was an uproar. Myriad Beast Sect Master, long time no see. The sect master of the Fierce Wind sect looked at Taoist Master Wanshou, who had received him, and said with a fake smile. This time, he wanted to see what this Beast Taming Peak's Peak Master was capable of. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 800. Leave first, 1 Fierce Wind Sect Master. May I know what important matter you have come here for this time? Taoist Master Wanshou said with a smile, as he looked at the sect master of the Fierce Wind sect. Myriad Beast Sect Master, we're here to congratulate you this time. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect that in the end, your Beast Trainer Peak would actually win the competition. The Fierce Gale sect's sect master laughed loudly, as he looked at Taoist Master Wanshou and said, However, Myriad Beast Sect Master, I have a small matter to attend to this time. The Fierce Gale sect's sect master continued. That nephew of mine, Kuang Shan, had his legs broken in your Stardust town. Hence, he doesn't know about this matter. What is it? Your nephew's leg has been broken. Taoist Master Wanshou pretended to be surprised when he heard the news. He already knew about this matter a long time ago. Of all the people that Kuang Shan could provoke, he had to provoke Senior. That Kuang Shan actually wanted to snatch Feng Ling who Senior had just hired. It was fortunate that Senior didn't kill him. However, the sect master of the Fierce Gale sect, I heard that it was your Fierce Gale sect's Kuang Shan who wanted to snatch the lady away first in GHD? Taoist Master Wanshou did not show any mercy, as he said to the Gale sect's sect master. The Fierce Gale sect's sect master did not expect that this venerable Wanshou would actually not give him face. In an instant he was actually rendered speechless. Myriad Beast Sect Master, my Fierce Gale sect master is on good terms with you guys. My nephew was bullied in Stellar Town. No matter what, you have to give an explanation, right? The Fierce Gale sect's sect master rolled his eyes in anger and said, This Taoist Master Wanshou had originally thought that he did not have any tricks up his sleeves. He did not expect him to be so sharp-tongued. Fierce Gale sect's sect master, It's not that I don't want to give you an explanation, but the person your fierce Gale Sect's Kuang Shan offended isn't an ordinary person. Taoist Master Wanshou did not pay attention to the words of the Gale Sect's sect master, and only said indifferently. He said this to persuade the sect master of the whole Gale sect not to cause trouble for no reason. Otherwise, don't blame the Starry Sky sect for being impolite. This Taoist Master Wanshou was really too arrogant. He actually looked down on their fierce Gale sect so much. Although the 10,000 Swords Peak had lost this time, the 10,000 Swords Peak's attitude towards their fierce Gale sect was very good previously. They wished that they could worship them now. This beast-taming Peak's Peak Master actually treated them like this. This Taoist Master Wanshou was simply going too far. Then you better not regret it. After hearing Taoist Master Wanshou's words, the fierce Gale Sect's sect master finally could not help but pull a long face. Fierce Gale Sect Master, I advise you not to provoke people you shouldn't provoke. Taoist Master Wanshou said, unwilling to be outdone. If this fierce Gale Sect's sect master really wanted to have designs on Senior, then he would definitely not let this fierce Gale sect succeed. Sect master, we've found out. Should we retreat first? At this moment, Wulong walked to Master Taoist Wanshou's side and whispered, after all, this place was the territory of the Starry Sky sect. It would not be appropriate for them to cause trouble here. Sect master, there's a situation with the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master. At this moment, a cultivator suddenly walked up to Taoist Wanshou and said, due to the sudden death of the Starry Sky sect's sect master, and the fact that the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak had won the competition, Master Taoist Wanshou had become the sect master of the Starry Sky sect at that moment. Since that's the case, then let's meet again, Myriad Beast Sect Master. The fierce Gale Sect's sect master had also calmed down a little at this moment. He looked at Taoist Master Wanshou and said, since he had already found that expert, he would go and meet that expert first. Then, he would deal with this Myriad Beast Sect Master. Taoist Master Wanshou looked at the fierce Gale Sect's sect master in front of him. He originally wanted to say something, but when he thought of the Peak Master of Myriad Swords Peak who had suddenly disappeared, he could only nod his head in the end. Get the White Beast and Lorraine to protect Senior. Don't let Senior be disturbed. After the few of them left, Taoist Master Wanshou instructed, Sect Master, at the small path where the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak disappeared, we discovered traces of the devil race. The cultivator who had just reported slowly said to Taoist Wanshou after the few of them left, what is it? Traces of demons? Upon hearing this news, Taoist Master Wanshou's expression instantly froze. Quick, bring me to take a look. After saying that, the few of them walked towards the path. Sect Master, look, the surrounding plants have all been sucked up by the black fog. Moreover, the few people who were here at that time also said that they fainted after seeing a ball of black fog here. Therefore, we concluded that the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was captured by the demons. The cultivator looked at the withered plants around him and said slowly, this demon is actually so arrogant now. Aren't they afraid that we humans will start a war with them? Taoist Wanshou muttered to himself as he looked at the withered plants around him. After the great war between humans and demons a few hundred years ago, the two sides had always been in a situation where they did not interfere with each other. However, in the past 2 years, this demon had become more and more restless. He kept coming out to stir up trouble. Because those matters were not considered very big, they did not attract much attention in various places. Therefore, Master Wanshou had never taken the matter of the demons to heart. However, he did not expect this demon to have such a long hand. He even wanted to meddle in the affairs of the stellar sect. It seems that this demon wants to cause trouble in the human race. No, I have to hurry to the Tianji Pavilion. Taoist Wanshou muttered. At that time, the fierce Gale Sect's sect master followed Wulong to Star Town once again. Is that expert in this town? The fierce Gale Sect's sect master asked as he looked at the people coming and going on the street. Why was this expert so strange? Why was he in such a lively market? Yes, sect master. According to our inquiries, that expert is currently in the glorious Star Tower. This glorious star restaurant had just opened, and it was also the work of that expert. Standing beside the Gale sect master, Wulong told him everything he had heard in detail. If this sect master wants to see just who that expert is, the fierce Gale sect master said slowly after hearing Wulong's words. Then, the few of them walked towards the glorious star restaurant. Yo, we have guests. At this moment, Xiao Changtian, who was wandering around the glorious star tower, suddenly saw the sect master of the whole Gale sect, and a few others walking towards the glorious star tower. My apologies, but the facilities in our glorious star restaurant are still a little incomplete, so we won't be entertaining guests for now. Xiao Changtian walked over to them and said with a smile, "We're not here to eat. We're here to look for the boss." Looking at Xiao Changtian, Wulong said indifferently. He could feel that Xiao Changtian was just a mortal, so Wulong didn't put this waiter in his eyes. "Boss, I'm the boss here," Xiao Changtian said with a smile. "Are you the boss here?" After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the sect master of the Gale sect looked at Xiao Changtian with disdain and said, he did not believe that the so-called expert was a mortal. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 801. The Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets 1. We are cultivators. You immortal better not play any tricks on us. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude to you. Wulong looked at Xiao Changtian and said threateningly. Xiao Changtian frowned when he heard this. This cultivator was obviously discriminating against ordinary people. Although Xiao Changtian was afraid of these cultivators, he hated the discrimination that these cultivators showed towards ordinary people. I'm not joking with you. I'm the owner of this place, this glorious star restaurant. What? Do you really think you can do whatever you want just because you're cultivators? Xiao Changtian looked at them and said angrily, "You mortal, you're really arrogant. You even dare to deal with us." The fierce Gale sect master was extremely furious at this moment. Now, even a mortal actually bullied their whole Gale sect. They were simply courting death. Senior! Senior! At this moment, the white beast and Lorraine walked out from inside. They had been busy at the back, and had not noticed the situation in front of them. They did not expect that this person from the fierce wind sect would actually dare to cause trouble at this time. He was simply going against their starry sky sect. The two of you don't come over first. I want to see what tricks these people can play. Xiao Changtian quickly said when he saw the white beast and Luo Lan walking out. The white beast and Lorraine were also children from ordinary families. If these cultivators attacked them, and something happened to the white beast and Lorraine, he would definitely feel guilty. This fierce Gale sect master is finished. Senior is angry. Seeing Xiao Changshan's expression, the white beast and Lorraine looked at each other and whispered. This whole Gale sect master was really blind. He actually dared to treat Xiao Changtian like this. This was simply asking for trouble. Wulong, go and teach this mortal a lesson. This sect master wants to see just how capable a mortal can be to clamor for me. The fierce wind sect master looked at Xiao Changtian and snorted coldly. Yes, sir. However, just as Wulong stepped into the glorious star restaurant, a powerful pressure suddenly surged out from the side. Then, it's actually such a treasure. Wulong focused his gaze and saw that it was nothing else but a large saber on the table. Xiao Changtian usually used this knife to cut meat. Xiao Changtian had just taken the broadsword from a stall on the other side and hadn't had time to put it away. Senior, let us deal with this arrogant person. Seeing Wulong walk in without hesitation, the white beast and Lorraine walked forward to stop Wulong. You cultivators, do you think I'm easy to bully if I don't get angry? White beast Lorraine, you don't have to get involved in this matter. Facing these people, how could Xiao Changtian let the two children help him deal with them? These cultivators didn't look like they were easy to deal with. Bang! Then Xiao Changtian slammed the table. Puff dash! When Xiao Changtian finished slamming the table, the faces of the whole Gale sect's people all changed. It was because Xiao Changshan's palm seemed to have hit them hard. Even the souls in their bodies shook. What's going on? The fierce Gale sect master looked at Xiao Changtian in confusion. How could this be? Could it be because of that palm strike from this mortal? This was simply impossible. How could that mortal release such power? If you dare to take another step forward, don't blame the saber in my hand for being blind. Xiao Changtian looked at the big knife in his hand and waved it at the few of them. Dash. Just as Xiao Changtian swung his saber at them a few times, the few people from the whole Gale sect finally could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Zong. Sect master, I can't hold on any longer. Even Wu Long, who was walking in front, knelt down. It was not because of anything else, but because Xiao Changshan's 2 slashes had caused their bodies to become extremely chaotic. Their dantians had almost exploded at that moment. How could this be? How could this be? The fierce Gale sect master also suffered extremely powerful injuries because of these 2 blades. At this moment, the fierce Gale sect master finally felt fear. How could this mortal in front of him be a mortal? He was clearly an expert who hid his strength. Moreover, according to this situation, this expert's strength was at least at the Saint King realm. And he had insulted the expert in the beginning, but he had actually provoked the expert so carelessly. So cultivators are also afraid of kitchen knives. Xiao Changtian didn't expect that he would be so frightened just by waving his broadsword a few times. This fierce Gale sect people really deserved it. Everyone said not to provoke Senior. The white beast looked at them and said disdainfully, they would be lucky if Senior didn't kill them with a single slash. Could these people be mortals who pretended to be cultivators to find trouble? Xiao Changtian looked at their terrified expressions and suddenly thought of this possibility. No wonder these people were so scared when he was holding a big knife. So that was it. Looking at these people, Xiao Changtian was no longer afraid. If you guys don't want to be stabbed, get lost. Otherwise, when I really make a move later, you won't have a good ending. Xiao Changtian didn't want to fight with these people in front of the door, so he threatened. Let's go. Well, leave immediately. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the face of the Gale sect master turned pale. Just the 2-blade intense made him feel like he was suffocating, let alone when Xiao Changtian really made a move. Then, before Xiao Changtian could say anything else, the few of them ran away. Senior is still the best. When the white beast saw this scene, its face was filled with admiration. It wondered when it would be able to be as powerful as its senior. Yeah, it's our fortune to meet Senior. Lorraine said emotionally. All right, you two don't have to worry about it. These people are just some jumping clowns. Xiao Changtian said disdainfully as he looked at the retreating figures of the few of them. These people could do anything but pretend to be cultivators to deal with him. He was not afraid that others would laugh at him. At that moment, Taoist Wanshou had already arrived at the door of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Go and inform your great elder that Taoist Master Wanshou has something to discuss with him. Taoist Master Wanshou stood in front of the door of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets and said to the cultivators guarding it. He had come to the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets not only because he was the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak, but also because he wanted to ask Senior about the Spirit Tree Seed. Great Elder said to wait for you in the innermost room. After a while, the cultivator came out and said. Taoist Master Wanshou did not make any further movements and simply walked in. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 802, Demon Race, 1. Others might not know, but in fact Taoist Master Wanshou and the Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion were old acquaintances. In the past, Taoist Master Wanshou had helped the Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion quite a bit. However, due to his identity as the Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion, no one knew about their relationship except for a few people. Even if they knew, no one would believe that this Taoist Master Wanshou knew the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Enter. The Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion said slowly after hearing the knock on the door. Great Elder Tianji, long time no see. How have you been recently? After Taoist Master Wanshou entered, He smiled and greeted the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets, who was sitting in front of the table. Old brother Wanshou, there's no need to be so polite with me. Take a seat first. The great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion looked at perfected Wanshou and smiled as well. First Elder Tianji, there is indeed something that I want to ask you for information. I wonder if the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets has any news about the high-grade spirit tree seeds. Brother Wanshou, don't you know the rules of our Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets? Why? Do you want to get it out for nothing? Ha ha ha. The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets said to Taoist Wanshou with a smile. Although the two of them were old acquaintances, the secret pavilion had secretly helped Beast Trainer Peak in the past, under the name of the great elder of the secret pavilion. The secret pavilion had its own rules. If one wanted to obtain information, they had to exchange it with a treasured weapon and gold coins. Even the great elder was an exception. Therefore, the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets smiled and shook his head in response to Immortal Wanshou's words. Elder Destiny, I know I've broken the rules of your pavilion, but this time it's not me who wants it, but Senior. Taoist Master Wanshou had never wanted to get this information. He had only come to ask if there was any. If you have it, don't sell it to others. Because the secret pavilion had a rule that only one person could buy a piece of information. Every piece of information sold to the secret pavilion was extremely expensive. We do have this information. The secret pavilion will keep the information that your senior wants. The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets smiled and said, I wonder when Brother Wanshou got to know a senior? What kind of person is he to make you respect him so much? The great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets had long known that this beast-taming peak had befriended an expert. However, he was surprised to discover that the senior seemed to be immortal. Moreover, it was as if he had appeared out of thin air. He could not find out anything about him. First Elder Tianji, you better not investigate Senior, or else you will end up very miserable. Looking at the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets, Taoist Wanshou knew that this fellow must know who this senior of his was. However, he did not hide anything. However, he only warned that if Senior realized that the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was investigating him, Senior would definitely not be too happy. Old brother Wanshou, he's just a mortal. Could it be that you've been bewitched? The great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion laughed loudly. After all, if that senior was really an expert, he could casually take out 2 artifacts and exchange them for the spirit tree seeds. However, that senior even set up a stall to earn money. If word got out, no one would believe that he was an expert with extraordinary strength. Great Elder Tianji, you are really shallow. Taoist Master Wanshou sighed and shook his head after hearing the great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion's words. Why do you think our Imperial Beast Peak won this time? Is it really because of that person called Xiao Changtian? The great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion raised his eyebrows and asked. He wasn't suspecting Master Wanshou, but he hadn't found out what cultivation level Xiao Changtian had. Therefore, the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets didn't pay much attention to Xiao Changtian. In short, First Elder Tianji, you'd better not provoke Senior. Taoist Master Wanshou finally said helplessly. Oh right, I came to find you today for an important matter. There are demons. The smiling great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets instantly became serious when he heard the word demon clan. Have you also discovered signs of the demons? Right, there's a 90% chance that the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak was captured by the devil race. Although I don't know what use the devil race has for capturing the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Taoist Wanshou said to the great elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets with a serious expression. There's actually such a thing. In the past 2 years, the fiend race had caused quite a bit of commotion in the entire continent one after another. Now they were actually so rampant, actually daring to directly take away the myriad Swords Peak's peak master. The great elder of the secret pavilion did not look too good at this moment. He knew the power of the demon race, so he hated the demon race very much. I'll report this matter to the sect master. In the end, the first elder sighed and said, Oh right, don't worry about the spirit tree seed. I'll keep an eye out for you. But that senior of yours has to save up enough gold coins. Thank you, Great Elder. Taoist Wanshou thanked the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets and left. The demons are getting more and more arrogant. Not long after Taoist Master Wanshou left, the Great Elder walked towards the Pavilion Master's room. Sect Master. The Myriad Beast Sect Master just reported that the demons are getting more and more rampant. The moment he entered the room, the First Elder did not hesitate and told him what had happened just now. Yes, I've been paying attention to the demon race's matters for a long time. The Pavilion Master of the Secret Pavilion, who was sitting in front of the table, slowly said, "Not only has Lord One disappeared, but we have also recently received news that other sects have been captured by the demons. However, those people are not very strong." Then Sect Master, what should we do about this matter? The First Elder asked with a serious expression. If this demon continued to be so rampant, it would probably not be long before they dared to openly declare war on the human world. This demon has disappeared for so many years. For him to suddenly appear, things must not be simple. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets pondered for a moment before saying, "It was not because of anything else, but because the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets not only sold all kinds of intelligence, but more importantly, it protected the human world from being disturbed by the demons. In these hundreds of years, the fiend race had never come out to disturb the human world. Now they were becoming more and more rampant. We definitely can't let this go on. If this continued, the human demon would probably have to face another fierce battle." The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets looked out of the window with a serious expression. One had to know that although the humans had won the Great War between humans and demons 100 years ago, they had suffered heavy casualties. Almost 2/3 of the humans on the continent had died. Therefore, he had to stop this demon from becoming more and more rampant at the source. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 803, Scorching Sun Sect 1. However, to deal with the demons, our Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets alone is definitely not enough. Let's talk about this candidate later. The Pavilion Master of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets said slowly. Although the Secret Pavilion was very interested in this matter, it was not an easy task to deal with the demons. Thus he could only take it slow. At that time, Qin Shou was almost able to get down from the ground. "Young Master, that person from Imperial Beast Peak has already opened his shop at Glorious Star Restaurant." Uncle Qin reported. "All right, Qin Shou. We'll take revenge on this Imperial Beast Peak no matter what." Qin Shou gritted his teeth. Although he was not going to let the Imperial Beast Peak off easily, he would definitely not let the Imperial Beast Peak off easily. "Uncle Qin, have you found my father yet?" Qin Shou asked. "Young Master, we didn't find him, but according to my understanding, the Peak Master seemed to have been captured by the demon race." Uncle Qin told him everything he had heard. "Ha ha ha, this is really funny. He was even captured by the demons." Hearing this news, Qin Shou laughed loudly and said, "That old thief Wanshou must have captured my father and didn't dare to say it out loud, so he found such an excuse. The demons have disappeared for hundreds of years. How could they have captured father? It's simply ridiculous." Qin Shou did not believe this explanation at all, so he sneered a few times. "Then, young master, what should we do?" Uncle Qin asked. "I won't let go of this Imperial Beast Peak, but now is not the time." Although Qin Shou was incomparably furious, the current situation was not advantageous to them. If they were to act rashly at this time, the Imperial Beast Peak would definitely take the opportunity to suppress them. At this moment in Star Tower in Star Town, because the Starry Tower had just opened, and the meat provided by Xiao Changtian was very good, the business of the Starry Tower was unusually hot. This can't go on." Looking at the bustling scene in the glorious Star Tower, Xiao Changtian's face revealed a trace of worry. It was not because of anything else, but because there were so many customers now, and there were only him, the White Beast, Lorraine, and Feng Linger who had been called over. "Senior, what's wrong?" The white beast saw Xiao Changtian's worried face and walked over to ask. Although our shop is bigger and our customer flow has increased, we don't seem to have enough manpower. Xiao Changtian slowly expressed his thoughts. If their cooking speed could not keep up, they would lose a lot of customers. Senior, why don't we go find a few people to help? The white beast also understood that the few of them were indeed not enough to build such a huge glorious star restaurant. Go and find a few strong and capable people. It's best if they're like you. Xiao Changtian didn't reject the white beast's suggestion, so he ordered. Yes. The white beast immediately agreed. However, Senior's request seemed to be a little too harsh. Where could he find a strong and capable person like him? There probably wouldn't be another person in the entire Starry Sky sect who had such a cultivation base. Senior brother, what did Senior say to you? Why do you look so sad? After a while, Lorraine saw the white beast standing there with a worried expression. Lorraine. Senior said that he wanted to find a few strong and capable young men like me. But there doesn't seem to be anyone like me in our sect. The white beast sighed. This wasn't a problem of whether or not to look for them, but rather, Senior had asked him to look for several at once. It was really a little difficult for him to do it. At this moment, a figure sneakily appeared beside Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Black tortoise. It was actually the black tortoise. There's actually a black tortoise in this place. When the wretched figure saw the black tortoise in Xiao Changshan's courtyard, his mouth opened wide in surprise. Fuck. And the white tiger. Before the wretched figure could finish sighing, he suddenly saw the white tiger's figure slowly walk out from the side. Aya, you said that master has been leaving early and returning late these past few days. Is there a need to do that? White Tiger walked to Black Tortoise's side and said, he can just take out 2 things and get that information. Now he has to be so tired. Don't casually guess master's thoughts. Otherwise, if master gets angry, you'll be finished. Black Tortoise glanced at White Tiger and said, "K." Just as the 2 beasts were talking, a sound suddenly came from afar. Which blind person is coming again? Black Tortoise looked at the wretched figure in the distance and said, I won't go this time. Let Paishio go. He's been idle for so long. The White Tiger looked at him and shook its head. All right, big brothers, I'll go and meet them now. Paishio walked out from the side and said, Damn it, how did I step on a tree root? That figure was also very frightened at this moment, because he had already seen that the Black Tortoise and the White Tiger had already seen him. If he angered the terrifying divine beast, even 10 of his lives would not be enough for him to kill it. Who are you? Just as this person was standing there thinking about how to escape, Paishio suddenly jumped out from behind and said, Phew, Paishio. Looking at Paishio's figure, that person's expression changed again. Although he quite liked Paishio, he did not dare to act rashly when he saw Paishio's unhappy expression. Who are you? Why are you standing in front of my master's courtyard? Paishio asked threateningly. I really didn't do it on purpose. I was just passing by. That person looked at Paishio and immediately explained. Passing by. I don't believe that you would come to this forbidden area alone. Paishio narrowed his eyes as he looked at that person. It's true. I was really just passing by. I wanted to walk in, but I bumped into this small courtyard. I'm really not a thief who wants to steal things. At this moment, that person wanted to cry but had no tears. It was because he was the eldest young master of the Scorching Sun sect. Although he was the eldest young master of the Scorching Sun sect, he was not respected in the sect because he was too weak. Although he was very polite to him on the surface, many people mocked him in private. Therefore, in order to prove that he could do it, he swore in front of his father, the leader of the Scorching Sun sect, and an elder of the Scorching Sun sect, that he would break into the forbidden land of the wilderness alone. However, he did not expect to encounter a small courtyard as soon as he entered this desolate forbidden area. Out of curiosity, he could not help but walk closer to take a look. In the end, he was surrounded just like that. Although the Scorching Sun sect was not developing very well, their strength was not much different from the Starry Sky sect. Therefore, as the eldest young master of the Scorching Sun sect, Li Jing knew many godly beasts. But do you think your master lives here? Li Jing couldn't help but ask. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 804. Blazing Capital 1. Although Li Jing was very afraid of the Pai Xiu in front of him, he couldn't help but ask. Not only that, he also took out his money bag and handed it to Pai Xiu. Pai Xiu, who was about to chase this person out, saw the gold coins in the money bag, and his eyes lit up. Because of Xiao Changshan's control, Pai Xiu had not tasted gold coins for a long time. Even if it ate gold coins normally, it was very rare. But now, this person in front of him actually took out so many gold coins for him. Pai Xiu did not feel that this person in front of him was hateful anymore. On account of your generosity, I'll believe you for the time being. Pai Xiu took the money bag and immediately jumped to the side. Can I stay here and wait for your master to return? Li Jing looked at Pai Xiu and asked. Whatever. Pai Xiu only had eyes for the bag full of gold coins. Moreover, this person's cultivation was not too high. Even if he wanted to do something to Senior would not be able to not notice. After hearing Pai Xiu's words, Li Jing immediately nodded happily. There were so many rare immortal beasts in this small courtyard. Their master must be some peerless expert. At that time, he would definitely find an expert to ask for advice. What the hell is Pai Xiu doing? Why isn't there any news from the other party? At this moment, the white tiger in the courtyard saw that the Pai Xiu and the human did not fight. For a moment, it was a little puzzled. Looks like that person is not a threat. That's good. We don't have to worry. The black tortoise did not care so much. After saying that, it slowly crawled away. At that time, Xiao Changtian, who had been busy for the whole day, finally finished his work. I can finally go back. Xiao Changtian looked at his earnings and nodded in satisfaction. Right, white beast, don't forget to find a few strong young men. Before leaving, Xiao Changtian didn't forget to remind him. Alright, Senior, I'll definitely help you find it. The white beast nodded in response. Today he had discussed it with Taoist Master Wanshou. Taoist Master Wanshou was already helping to find them. It should not be long before he found a few helpers. At this moment, Taoist Master Wanshou looked at the few old men in front of him and said happily. Asked you to come here this time, because I want you to help my senior. You must be serious when the time comes. These old men were all good friends of Taoist Master Wanshou when he was young. At the same time, they were also very powerful. Although they were all itinerant cultivators, they were very famous outside. Wanshou, you should know what kind of people we are. If that senior is really that powerful, we will definitely be serious. One of the old men said with a smile. These few old men were scattered all over the continent. When he learned that Senior was looking for help, Taoist Wanshou gathered them all within a day. It was clear how much importance he placed on this matter. When these old men heard that Wanshou knew a very powerful senior, they did not hesitate to come. After so many years outside, they had seen all kinds of masters. However, listening to the words of Wanshou Jinren, this master was not ordinary. Hence they came. Limitless. When the time comes, don't cause trouble for me. 01D man Wanshou glared at the old man and said. This Limitless had been this sloppy for so many years, and he hadn't changed at all. Among the 4 old men, there were 2 sacred sovereigns, and 2 from the sacred sect. Their strength could be said to be very powerful. Although they were not too young, the seniors would definitely not despise them. At that time, Xiao Changtian had already returned to his courtyard. Ling Er, it's been hard on you these past few days. You still have to go help and take care of these animals when you come back. Xiao Changtian looked at Feng Ling Er and said with some guilt. But when you find help in 2 days, you won't have to run around. Senior, why would I find it hard? However, if you really want to compensate me, you don't have to give me any more gold coins. Feng Ling Er looked at Xiao Changtian meaningfully. She hadn't forgotten the mission that the Phoenix Peak Master had given her, which was to become Xiao Changtian's cultivation partner. Xiao Changtian looked at Feng Ling Er who was approaching him and said with a puzzled look, Linger, you're so silly. Why don't you want the gold coins? You deserve these gold coins. Xiao Changtian didn't see the meaning behind Feng Ling'er's words and just smiled. Senior. There's someone. However, just as Feng Ling'er was about to lean on Xiao Changtian suddenly looked outside and shouted, Master, don't be angry. I'm just passing by. I've been waiting for you here for a long time. Lai Jing stood outside the door and said carefully, that's not right. Why is this person immortal? Just as Lai Jing finished speaking carefully, he suddenly realized that the person in front of him was not an expert, but a mortal. The woman beside him seemed to have the glaze physique. No wonder. There were so many immortal beasts in this courtyard. It must be because of the woman with the glass physique beside that person. Oh, why don't you come in and sit? Xiao Changtian looked at this person's clean face, and didn't seem like a bad person. So he greeted him. Thank you. Lai Jing didn't stand on ceremony, and sat down as soon as he entered. In front of Xiao Changtian, Lai Jing could not feel the slightest fluctuation of spiritual power in Xiao Changtian. So he really was immortal. However, he was really bold. He actually dared to live in this desolate forbidden area. At this moment, Lai Jing was secretly complaining in his heart. By the way, brother, why are you living in this desolate forbidden land? There are many demon beasts in this place. Lai Jing immediately voiced out the doubts in his heart. He was just asking out of politeness. With the white tiger and black tortoise guarding the courtyard, there was nothing to be afraid of this mortal. And this mortal was just leaning against the woman beside him. To put it bluntly, this man was just a gigolo. At this moment, Lai Jing had already labeled Xiao Changtian as a pretty boy. Haha, there are only some wild animals in the mountains. There's no need to be afraid. Xiao Changtian thought that the young man in front of him was a mortal like him. So he said with a smile. However, Lai Jing frowned when he heard Xiao Changshan's words. There was some wild game in the mountains? This man was really pretentious. Any random demon beast in this mountain could trample this person in front of him into a pulp. This person was really good at pretending. Although Lai Jing really wanted to scold Xiao Changtian, he held it in. Anyway, he wouldn't stay here any longer, so there was no need to argue with the pretentious person. Alright brother, what's your name? Xiao Changtian asked Lai Jing. My name is Lai Yi. Since he did not plan to stay here for long, there was no need to tell this person his real name. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 805. A Few Old Men 1. Brother Lai Yi, my name is Xiao Changtian. Haha, since we are passing by, let's stay here tonight. Looking at the darkness around him, Xiao Changtian urged him to stay. Then brother Xiao, I'll have to trouble you. Originally, Lai Jing didn't want to interrupt him, but seeing Xiao Changshan's enthusiasm, he didn't reject him. Because he did not know what terrifying demon beasts would appear in the night of this desolate forbidden land, it was better not to act rashly. The next day, the sky had just brightened when Lai Jing set off. Xiao Changtian went to the Glorious Star restaurant. Senior, you're here. Just as Xiao Changtian approached the Glorious Star restaurant, he saw Master Wanshou and 4 old men waiting for him in the shop. Uncle Wanshou, are you done with your family matters? Why are you here so early in the morning? Xiao Changtian looked at the old men and asked in confusion. Senior, didn't I hear that you were looking for help? I specially found it for you. Master Wanshou smiled at Xiao Changtian and then looked at the old men behind him. Xiao Changtian looked at Master Wanshou and the old men behind him. He knew something was wrong. No way. No way. Could it be that Elder Wanshou was going to ask these old men to come over and help? It wasn't that Xiao Changtian despised these old men, but one of them was as thin as a stick, as if he could be blown away by the wind. One of them looked like he had seen through everything, and 2 of them had white hair. They looked like they could be his grandfathers. Moreover, didn't he tell the white beast that he wanted to find a few strong young men like him? Why did this Uncle Wanshou bring all his relatives here? Uncle Wanshou, could it be that the people behind you? Xiao Changtian asked Wanshou Jimren in confusion. Yes, yes, yes. Senior, although the few elders behind me are a little old, their arms and legs are still strong. Taoist Master Wanshou looked at Xiao Changshan's expression and said immediately. Although it was not easy to find a young man with the same cultivation level as the white beast, he could still find an old man with a higher cultivation level than the white beast. Uncle Wanshou, are you sure these people can help take care of Glorious Star Restaurant's business? Xiao Changtian still had some doubts. It was not because of anything else, but because of these old people. What if they were tired from working? Then wouldn't he have to pay for the medical expenses? What do you mean? What? You even despise us? Just as Xiao Changtian finished speaking, old man Wujiang, who was standing behind Master Wanshou, stood up and said disdainfully. Originally, Taoist Master Wanshou had told them that this senior had hidden himself as a mortal, and that they should be more polite. However, they did not expect that after meeting him today, this Xiao Changtian was clearly a mortal. Moreover, a mortal actually despised them for being old. How could Limitless accept this? Limitless, why are you talking to Senior? Reverend Wanshou didn't expect that this Boundless would be so stubborn and insist on courting death in front of Senior. Hey, Uncle Wanshou, don't be angry. I don't mean to despise you. Xiao Changtian quickly stopped him. He did not dare to provoke this old man. If this old man fainted from anger and tried to extort him, then he would really lose more than he gained. However, can these uncles really do it? Xiao Changtian looked at Limitless and asked. Don't worry, although these few are a little old, their legs are still agile. Taoist Master Wanshou immediately said. Humph. The few of us are very efficient and ruthless. Isn't it just helping you? Why can't we? Wujiang said loudly to Xiao Changtian. This time, he was going to let this mortal see what a powerful immortal cultivator was. Then, alright then. Xiao Changtian sighed helplessly. These few elders were a little old, but they did not seem to have it easy. Moreover, they were all found by Master Wanshou, so they should be quite reliable. Uncle Limitless, why don't you come with me to the kitchen? Xiao Changtian then walked towards the backyard. Aya, I told you guys not to cause trouble. What's wrong with you, Boundless? Taoist Master Wanshou said angrily to the others, as he watched Xiao Changtian walk into the backyard. Reverend Wanshou, we treat you as our own brother, so why are you making us follow this kid? This kid really doesn't have any spiritual power at all. He doesn't look like he's pretending at all. Taoist Master Wanshou, you couldn't have been deceived, right? The old man beside him also walked forward, and slowly said to Taoist Master Wanshou. Aya, Elder Kong, why don't you believe me? Reverend Wanshou was really helpless at this moment. You guys just watch. Senior will naturally prove it to you. In the end, Master Taoist Wanshou sighed helplessly. Alright, then we'll stay here for 2 days and treat it as a vacation. 2 days from now, we won't be staying here anymore. In the end, Limitless nodded and said. They had come all the way here anyway. Just treat it as a visit to Taoist Master Wanshou. Hey, Uncle Limitless, come quickly. Xiao Changtian shouted at Limitless from the backyard. I want to see what tricks this mortal can display. After that, Limitless walked towards the backyard. Uncle Limitless, I think you're the strongest among these people. This pair of beast meat needs to be cut. You do it. Xiao Changtian smiled at Uncle Wujiang and handed over the big knife in his hand. Isn't it just cutting dash? What happened? However, just as Boundless received these sabers, he suddenly felt a powerful spiritual energy rush from his hands to the top of his head. This saber. Looking at the big blade in Xiao Changshan's hand, Limitless' expression changed drastically. He looked at Xiao Changtian in disbelief. Xiao Changtian looked at Limitless' surprised expression and sighed. No way. This old man couldn't have never seen a decent broadsword before, right? Where did you get this saber? After a long while, Limitless recovered from his shock and looked at Xiao Changtian in disbelief. Because of this saber, even with his strength as a saint venerable, he couldn't get such a powerful saber. But now the one Xiao Changtian gave him had such power. This meat cleaver? I still have a lot of them. If you want them, I can give you 2. Xiao Changtian said indifferently, because in order to prevent the knife from becoming blunt, he had specially prepared a few of them. Here, give me 2. After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Wu Jiang's surprised expression became even more shocked. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 806, What Bad Luck 1. Yeah, it's just 2 sabers. I'm not that stingy. Xiao Changtian smiled at Uncle Wujiang. He wasn't that petty to be angry with an old man. Oh right, Uncle Limitless, the meat here has to be cut evenly, or it will affect the taste. Xiao Changtian then ordered Uncle Limitless. Wujiang didn't notice the meat on the table. After Xiao Changtian finished speaking, Wujiang looked at it and was shocked again. It was not because of anything else, but because the meat on the table was not ordinary pork or mutton, but genuine demon beast meat. Soaring Sky Ape, Red Sea Joy. Looking at the lumps of demonic beast meat, Limitless muttered their names. It was not because of anything else, but because these demonic beasts were at least at the level of a sacred sovereign. If they wanted to eat such demon beast meat normally, they would probably only be able to do so when some sect was entertaining their distinguished guests. However, this meat seemed to be sold normally. Did you hit all these? At this moment, Wujiang's attitude towards Xiao Changtian had changed drastically. This Xiao Changtian was not an ordinary person at all. It was all his fault for being too shallow. Xiao Changtian was a reclusive expert. It was all his fault for being too shallow and not being able to detect it. That's right. By the way, if you understand, then I'll leave first. There aren't enough demon beasts. I have to hurry to the desolate forbidden land and get some back. Xiao Changtian remembered that he still had to go hunting, so he left after giving some instructions to Boundless. 10,000 beasts. 10,000 beasts. Just now, I was blind and couldn't see Senior's cultivation. I really deserve to die. After Xiao Changtian left, Limitless walked out and said to Master Wanshou, I told you not to underestimate Senior. Fortunately, Senior has a good temper and doesn't fuss over it with you. Otherwise you would be finished. Master Wanshou looked at Limitless and snorted. Wanshou, don't be angry. It's not that I don't believe you, but that Senior's disguise is just too good. You know, I've seen many people, but I've never seen anyone who can disguise as well as Senior. Limitless sighed and said slowly to Master Wanshou. At the beginning, he really didn't find any trace of spiritual power in Xiao Changtian. He could only say that Xiao Changshan's strength was too high, so high that he couldn't even guess it. Sigh, no way. Myriad beasts limitless, is it really that ridiculous? The 3 old men beside him were all dumbfounded. No way, unbounded. Isn't he just a mortal? Elder Kong looked at myriad beasts and limitless helplessly. What was going on? How did the most stubborn Boundless become like this? Elder Kong, just believe us. Senior is really not an ordinary person. Wanshou patted Elder Kong's shoulder and said, You guys stay here and do your best. I'll return to the Starry Sky sect first. After saying that, Taoist Master Wanshou did not stay in the glorious Star Tower any longer. At this moment, Xiao Changtian had already arrived at the forbidden area of the wilderness. This time we have to go inside. After all, the glorious Star Tower is no longer the small stall of the past. The demand for these demon beasts is not ordinary. Xiao Changtian muttered as he looked around. At this moment, on the other side of the forbidden land, Lai Jing was looking around in panic. After leaving Xiao Changshan's small courtyard, he had been walking towards the forbidden grounds of the wilderness. However, even though he was clearly heading north, everything around him was getting more and more strange. Not only did the surrounding plants become more and more strange, but a thick fog also rose in the surroundings, making the entire forest even more strange. Lai Jing had not been too afraid just now, but now, he realized that the compass in his hand had instantly lost its function. Even the things he had brought along to guide the way had lost their effect in this fog. What should we do now? Where should we go? Lai Jing looked around solemnly, not knowing where to go next. Roar! At this moment, The roar of a demon beast suddenly came from behind the tree in front of them. No way, no way. I can't be so unlucky, right? Lai Jing's body trembled as he heard the demon beast's cry. Although he was the eldest young master of the Scorching Sun sect, and had seen many rare and powerful demonic beasts, he had only seen them. In order to protect him, the leader of the Scorching Sun sect had never allowed him to fight alone with those demonic beasts. Now that they had met, Lai Jing was at a loss. Meanwhile, in the Scorching Sun sect master, are you really going to let eldest young master go to the forbidden area of the wilderness? The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect looked at the sect leader and asked, "That brat, I usually give him enough face, but now in front of so many people in the sect, he actually doesn't give me any face at all. Since he wants to go, I won't stop him. After all, I, the Scorching Sun sect master, don't only have one son." The Scorching Sun sect master said angrily after hearing the first elder's words. This Lai Jing had actually insulted him in front of so many people. He did not even put his father in his eyes. Anyway, his eldest son's strength was not much. Even if he died in that wild forbidden land, he would not feel too much heartache. Hey! The first elder of the Scorching Sun sect sighed helplessly when he saw the attitude of the Scorching Sun sect master. This young master was too stubborn. At this moment, Lai Jing is looking at the faint figure in the distance with trepidation. Whoosh! Whoosh! Just as Lai Jing was panicking, the commotion in front of him grew louder and louder. Bang! Suddenly, a huge rhinoceros rushed out from the thick fog in front of them. Giant spirit rhinoceros. Looking at the huge rhinoceros in front of him, Lai Jing's face was filled with fear. What should we do? That's a sacred sovereign giant spirit rhinoceros. How can I possibly defeat it? Lai Jing didn't know what to do now. This was because if he were to face the giant spirit rhinoceros with his current strength, he would only die. Roar! Just as Lai Jing was panicking, the giant spirit rhinoceros roared and charged forward. We're done for. At this moment, Lai Jing closed his eyes in despair. He had never thought that his life would end here. Bang! Right at this moment, a figure suddenly knocked the huge spirit rhinoceros to the side. Fuck, why is this guy here? Xiao Changtian stabbed his blade into the giant spirit rhinoceros body. This brother Xiao? When Lai Jing opened his eyes and saw the figure, his jaw dropped in shock. Aya! So it's you. Xiao Changtian turned around and saw Lai Jing. So this brother was still here. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 807, Blazing Capital Shock 1. Why are you still here? Xiao Changtian walked to the side of Lai Jing and said in surprise. How is this possible? The giant spirit rhinoceros was killed by you just like that. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Lai Jing felt as if he was dreaming. What was wrong with this mortal? How could he stab the giant spirit rhinoceros to death? This was simply unbelievable. What's wrong? Although this rhino was a little big, it was not that powerful. Xiao Changtian was speechless when he saw Lai Jing's reaction. How did this kid dare to come to this deep forest alone? He was even afraid of this rhinoceros. Not very powerful? After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lai Jing finally understood that Xiao Changtian wasn't just acting tough last night. He really had the ability. Brother Xiao, no senior, can you let me follow you? Lai Jing quickly reacted and said respectfully to Xiao Changtian. What? Follow me? Xiao Changtian was confused. He had only killed a rhinoceros, and this Lai Jing was already so surprised that he still wanted to follow him. It was truly unbelievable. Senior, I was blind before and didn't see that you were such an expert. Please let me learn from you. Lai Jing said to Xiao Changtian. It was not because of anything else, but because he had now realized how powerful Xiao Changtian was. As the eldest young master of the Scorching Sun sect, he had seen many different kinds of masters, and the most powerful ones usually pretended to be mortals. In the beginning, he didn't realize that Xiao Changtian was such an expert. Now he finally understood. How could he give up such a great opportunity? If he followed Xiao Changtian, he would definitely learn a lot. But I'm just a little good at hunting. If you follow me, I'm afraid you won't get much. Xiao Changtian looked at Lai Jing and said slowly. After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lai Jing thought to himself, Senior must be testing me, testing my patience. Senior, don't worry. If I follow you, I definitely won't cause you any trouble. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Lai Jing tried to coax him again. Right, Senior, here are some things I brought. Take it as my filial piety to you. After saying that, Lai Jing handed Xiao Changtian a large bag of gold coins and many artifacts he had brought with him. Xiao Changtian didn't want to receive it at first, but when he saw the big bag of gold coins, his eyes instantly lit up. Such a big bag should be worth at least 500 gold coins. It seemed that this kid was still a young master. Such a big bag was probably the profits of Glorious Star Restaurant for several days. Cough. Since you are so sincere in wanting to stay here, just give me some gold coins. You can take back the rest first. Xiao Changtian didn't ask for much, only a few gold coins. After all, such a young master must have suffered at home for coming to the deep mountains and forests. He would probably go back soon. At that time, if he took him in, he might be able to take care of their Glorious Star Restaurant's business in the future. Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian did not refuse and let Lai Jing follow him. Senior, this fog seems to be a formation, right? Lai Jing followed behind Xiao Changtian and muttered to himself as he looked at the thick fog around him. That was because when he was walking just now, he could not find the exit at all. It was as if a ghost had appeared in his surroundings. What? Formation? No way. You're just too worried. Don't be afraid. Just follow me. Xiao Changtian sighed as he looked at Lai Jing. It seemed that this kid was really a young master. He had never even seen the fog in the mountains. In the thick fog, it was as if he had turned on the GPS. He quickly walked out of the fog and returned to his courtyard. Senior is really amazing. Such a thick fog. And I can feel that the array formation is not ordinary. But Senior walked out so easily. It's simply too amazing. It seems that I really didn't follow the wrong person. Looking at Xiao Changtian in front of him, the admiration on Lai Jing's face grew stronger. At this moment, he realized how shallow he was. And he also realized that this was what a master was like. Right, Brother Lai. If you want to stay here, you can stay in that empty room. Xiao Changtian pointed at the house beside him. Senior, don't call me Brother Lai. Just call me Little Lai. Hearing Xiao Changtian call him, Lai Jing quickly said. Yesterday, he was shallow and thought that Xiao Changtian was really immortal. Now that he knew the truth, he didn't dare to let Xiao Changtian call him Brother Lai. All right, Little Lai, you can stay here for now. I still have to go to the Glorious Star Restaurant. Xiao Changtian left after making the arrangements. At that time in the whole Gale sect, Kwangshan this sect master is also helpless. The fierce Gale sect's sect master looked at Kwangshan and sighed. Sect master, didn't you say that you would avenge me? How could he go back on his word? Can't you even deal with a woman? Kwangshan looked at the fierce Gale sect's sect master and questioned. Upon hearing Kwangshan's words, the Gale sect's sect master was so shocked that he was scared of the table. You still have the nerve to say that. If it wasn't for you, how could we have ended up in this state? Do you know how big of a figure our whole Gale sect offended because of you? The fierce Gale sect's sect master looked at Kwangshan with a face full of rage. This damn Kwangshan. If he wasn't his own nephew, he would definitely have slapped him across the face. No. No, it can't be. Sect master, I did it because of that woman. How could that woman have such great ability? Kwangshan was startled by the furious look of the Gale sect's sect master. He didn't know what was going on with the sect master of the whole Gale sect. A woman. A woman. Do you know who that woman is? The fierce Gale sect's sect master said with a face full of anger. That woman is the woman of that expert. You actually dared to touch such a woman. You simply don't want to live. The fierce Gale sect's sect master looked at Kwangshan, his face flushed red from anger. How is that possible? Isn't that woman just a little special? Kwangshan was somewhat in disbelief. Besides, how can there be an expert in that place? How could there be an expert in that Broken Star town? You're really hopeless. From today onwards, you'll stay in your room and don't come out. If I see you with a woman again, I'll break your legs." The fierce Gale sect master roared furiously at Kuang Shan. Even now, this Kuang Shan still did not know how to repent. He was simply hopeless. "Sect master, don't. Me. Men, lock Kuang Shan in his room. Without my permission, he is not allowed to leave." The fierce Gale sect master didn't wait for him to finish speaking before fiercely arranging. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 808. Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets 1. At that time in Star Town. 1,000, 2,000. Seeing so many gold coins in his money bag, Xiao Changshan's face bloomed with joy. The earnings from the past few days, in addition to the amount he had saved up previously, were now enough to go to the Heaven Secrets Pavilion to exchange for the spirit tree seeds. "I'm going out for a while." After Xiao Changtian finished speaking, he walked towards the Tianji Pavilion. After a while, Xiao Changtian arrived at the entrance of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. No wonder the news here is so expensive. It looks different. In front of Xiao Changtian, there was a building that was more luxurious than the surrounding buildings. On the huge plaque, there were 3 golden words carved on it: Tianji Pavilion. "I'm here for the news of the spirit tree seed." Xiao Changtian looked at the building in front of him and stepped into it. "Stop, what are you doing?" Just as Xiao Changtian was about to enter, 2 guards asked him. "I'm here to exchange information." Xiao Changtian smiled at them. "Are you sure you're here to exchange information and not to cause trouble?" Seeing Xiao Changtian like this, the 2 guards had a disdainful look on their faces. This was because even if the people they received were not cultivators, they were all mortals with some status, and were very rich. Not only was this mortal in front of him an ordinary person without any cultivation, but he was also dressed in coarse linen clothes. One look, and one could tell that he was from a poor family. Could such a person have the money to exchange information with the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets? What's wrong with you? Was this how he treated his customers? After hearing the guard's words, Xiao Changshan's face instantly darkened. Could it be that the Heaven Secret Pavilion didn't want to sell him information because he was just an ordinary person? "I advise you not to cause trouble in front of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. The Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets has seen many people like you. If you don't want us to make a move, you'd better leave quickly," the guard said to Xiao Changtian in disdain. Someone has come to the Prophecy Pavilion to cause trouble again. It seemed that he would be chased away later. That's right, that's right. If you don't have money, don't come to this place. It's really embarrassing." Not only the guards, but many people were also whispering to Xiao Changtian. Every month, there would be quite a number of people who wanted to cause a ruckus in the secret pavilion, but they would all be ruthlessly chased away by the secret pavilion's guards. "Fuck, you really look down on me. You can actually do this?" Xiao Changtian looked around helplessly. He did look a little poor, but he couldn't be beaten to death. What happened? What's going on? Who is shouting here? At this moment, the great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion walked out. Today, the great elder of the Prophecy Pavilion happened to be on duty inside. When he heard the commotion outside, he came out and asked, "First elder, someone has come to our Prophecy Pavilion to cause trouble again." The guard immediately reported when he saw the first elder come out. Xiao Changtian. However, just as the guard finished speaking, he saw the great elder looking at Xiao Changtian with a smile and said, "I didn't expect you to really come. You know me." Xiao Changtian didn't know what was going on with this old man. Why did he call out his name? He had never seen the underframe before. The 2 of you should be more careful next time. This isn't here to cause trouble." The great elder turned around and reprimanded the 2 of them, after laughing at Xiao Changtian. What's going on? Wasn't that person poor? What was going on? Why did the great elder of the secret pavilion personally bring him in? Seeing this scene, the ninjas who were laughing at Xiao Changtian were all dumbfounded. They were very surprised and didn't know what was going on. "I remember now. What is wrong?" What is wrong? That person is not a poor person. Isn't that the boss of Xinghua restaurant? At this moment a townsfolk shouted, Star Glory Tower? The biggest restaurant in our town? The townsfolk on the other side also said in surprise. Although Glorious Star Restaurant had only been open for a few days, its business was booming. It was now the most popular restaurant in Star Town. I was wondering why this person was so familiar. The owner of the Glorious Star Restaurant had the backing of the Starry Sky sect. Another townsfolk said in surprise. At this moment, many people looked at Xiao Changtian, who was invited in by the Great Elder with lingering fear. They regretted what they had said. They were the real poor people. If Xiao Changtian hated them, they would really be finished. At this moment, in the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Brother Xiao, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect these guards to actually stop you. The Great Elder quickly apologized after bringing Xiao Changtian in. I'm fine. But how do you know me? Xiao Changtian didn't really care about what had just happened. Brother Xiao, didn't Wanshou tell you? The Great Elder looked at Xiao Changshan's confused face and asked in surprise. Uncle Wanshou? He didn't tell me anything. Xiao Changtian was still confused. Wanshou knew that you were looking for the spirit tree seed. So he specially found me and asked me to keep this news for you. The Great Elder did not hide anything and immediately said it. Uncle Wanshou is really a good person. I didn't expect him to be so attentive. I'm really grateful to him. Xiao Changtian had never thought that Uncle Wanshou would help him in this matter. Moreover, Uncle Wanshou must have begged the Tianji Pavilion a lot. He was really touched. When he returned, he would definitely thank Uncle Wanshou properly. The Great Elder was observing Xiao Changtian quietly, but even if he used all his skills, he couldn't see any spiritual power in Xiao Changshan's body. He was no different from an ordinary person. However, after thinking about Master Wanshou's words, the Great Elder of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets continued to look at Xiao Changtian calmly. Brother Xiao, I wonder why you're looking for this spirit tree seed? The Great Elder couldn't help but ask Xiao Changtian. Xiao Changshan's face froze when he heard the Great Elder's words. He couldn't tell them that he was here to get the 100,000 crystal points from the system. To accomplish something great. Xiao Changtian pondered for a moment and said. The Great Elder of the Machinery Pavilion shook his head helplessly when he saw Xiao Changshan's mysterious look. Since Xiao Changtian didn't want to tell him, he wouldn't force him. Moreover, the secret pavilion had a rule that they could not ask about the privacy of their guests. Although it was against the rules, he was really curious. In that case, have you brought enough gold coins? Then the Great Elder of the Prophecy Pavilion asked. Don't worry, everything is prepared. Xiao Changtian immediately nodded. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 809. Buying News 1. However, if you want to find the spirit tree seeds, I suggest you buy them one by one. The Great Elder said to Xiao Changtian. It wasn't because of anything else, but because Xiao Changtian wanted to buy this spirit tree seed. Not only was it very far away, but it was also very difficult to get it. If Xiao Changtian met with an accident on the way, then there would be nothing left. Alright. Xiao Changtian didn't refuse. After all, buying one message at a time would give him time to earn gold coins. Xiao Changtian hadn't saved enough money to buy 9 messages at once. Follow me. Then, the Great Elder brought Xiao Changtian to the basement of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. Kata. In the huge empty basement, Xiao Changtian and the Great Elder's footsteps were unusually loud. Not only was this place big, but it was also surrounded by cabinets. The cabinets were very big, and each cabinet had countless small grids. Inside them were all kinds of information. I found it. Suddenly, the Great Elder in front of Xiao Changtian stopped and looked at the small box on the top of the huge cabinet in front of him. The small grid here was different from the previous one, because the grid here was purple. The secret pavilion will pay you a visit according to the importance of the information. The gray grid just now is the cheapest information. Then, there's this purple grid, followed by yellow and red. Among them, the red information was the most important. If one wanted to obtain that information, they had to pay a very high price. Looking at Xiao Changtian, the great elder slowly explained. However, most of the information is in the gray and purple boxes. The most important ones are in the yellow boxes, so no one has bought the red information for so many years. So that's how it is. Xiao Changtian nodded his head. No wonder the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets was so huge. This was because there was not only a Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets here, but it was also spread throughout the entire Divine Pool sacred world. The Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets had an elder in charge of every place. Therefore, the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets had a huge intelligence network. It could be as big as national affairs, or as small as who had stolen a chicken from a house. Found it. Just as Xiao Changtian was sighing with emotion, the great elder took out a piece of leather paper from the grid above. This purple-colored information is worth at least 1,000 gold coins. For the sake of the 10,000 beasts, I'll charge you 1,000 gold coins. The great elder said as he handed the leather paper to Xiao Changtian. Thank you. After the transaction, Xiao Changtian didn't stop. Then he took the craft paper and went out. Hanamo country, what is this place? When Xiao Changtian returned to the glorious Star Tower, he frowned and said while looking at the words on the craft paper. Senior, are you talking about the Hanamo kingdom? At this moment, Luolan walked to Xiao Changtian and asked. That's right. I just bought this information from the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. One of the spirit tree seeds is in the Hanamo kingdom. Xiao Changtian nodded at Luolan. However, I just don't know what kind of place the Hanamo kingdom is. Senior, the Hanamo kingdom is at the southernmost border of the Jade Lake sacred world. That place is called the Hanamo kingdom because it is located in the vast desert. Although very few people go to that country, it is extremely powerful. Lorraine did not hesitate and told him everything she knew about the Hanamo kingdom. Since that's the case, I'll have to go personally. Xiao Changtian nodded. He had to find this spirit tree seed. Even if it was in a remote place, he would go. The news that Xiao Changtian was going to the Hanamo kingdom spread throughout the entire Glorious Star restaurant. Senior, can I go with you? At this moment, Lai Jing walked out from behind and asked. When Lai Jing, who was in the courtyard, found out that Xiao Changtian had opened a restaurant in Star Town, he volunteered to help. Therefore, Xiao Changtian found him a job in the kitchen to help cut meat. What Lai Jing didn't expect was that his cultivation, which had not broken through for many years, would actually break through on that day because his senior had asked him to cut the meat. He had broken through from a Saint Master to a Great Saint Master in an instant. If this continued, no one in the Scorching Sun sect would be able to defeat him when he returned. Therefore, Lai Jing wanted to stay by Xiao Changshan's side. Perhaps he could break through faster. The journey this time is long, and I don't know what dangers there will be. You'd better stay in Stardust Town obediently. Xiao Changtian smiled and shook his head when he saw Lai Jing's expression. He didn't dare to bring the young master along. If his parents came looking for him, not only would he be unlucky, but his starry tower would also not have a good ending. After hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lai Jing's face was filled with despair. The senior was saying that he was too weak, and that he would be a burden if he followed him. Senior, in that case, I will wait for your return in Stardust Town. Although Lai Jing was very disappointed, he looked at Xiao Changtian with determination. He had to strive to become stronger before Senior returned, so that Senior would look at him in a new light. All right, since I want to set off, I'll cook later and call them over. Then Xiao Changtian walked towards the kitchen. Hey, Elder Kong, didn't you say that you would leave in 2 days? Why hadn't he left after such a long time? Just as Xiao Changtian was cooking, Master Taoist Wanshou came over and asked Elder Kong with a smile. I was indeed shallow before, but now, I've already been deeply convinced by Senior. Elder Kong didn't believe in Xiao Changshan's strength at first, but when he saw Xiao Changtian teach Unbounded how to handle meat, he was deeply convinced by Xiao Changtian. One had to know that just by chopping off a rhinoceros leg, the power emitted from Xiao Changshan's body could make him kneel down immediately. Then Elder Su, are you also convinced by Senior's strength? Taoist Wanshou asked with a smile, as he looked at the other white-haired old man. Aren't you asking a question in the know? Elder Su rolled his eyes at Master Wanshou. They were old after all. The depth of the hidden experts nowadays was something that even old men like them could not see through. All right, let's eat. In order to let these people take good care of the glorious star restaurant after he left, Xiao Changtian had specially prepared a very sumptuous feast this time. Senior, you're really amazing. So many dishes are still so fragrant. Looking at the table full of dishes, Feng Linger could not help but sigh. Feng Linger had been looking for all sorts of opportunities to get close to Xiao Changtian. But it was all to no avail. Now that Xiao Changtian was leaving, she had no more chances. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.